Guys, so today's video is going to be talking about sales. The entire video, the whole fucking thing, just sales. I'm with my boy Craig right now. So he's going to ask me some questions. I'm going to answer all your questions that you guys have asked me over the Twitter DMs, over IG DMs, over Telegram DMs. I'm always getting questions about sales, so I thought, fuck it, let's answer them.
So the first question for you is, how did you get into sales?
Yeah, so a lot of you guys know I started off sales in door-to-door sales. So I've told the story many, many times. You guys probably have heard of it. One day my friend came back from hockey, told me, Hassan, there's a door-to-door sales job for you. I said, fuck it. Long story short, I started door-to-door sales by selling boilers. That's pretty much it. My whole life before that, I never sold anything. I was not one of those street hustlers. I was not one of those hustlers in school selling cookies or selling pens or water bottles, buying them from Poundland and selling them for a more expensive price. Should I be looking at you or should I be looking at the camera? Because last time it's like the
bit of both, it's whatever, innit?
It's kind of, yeah.
We're super new to these kind of things. Just as much value as possible. That's the most important thing.
So yeah, I was never one of those hustlers in school selling cookies or selling weed or selling pens. It was basically my only experience ever with sales. So yeah, I mean, I sold a little bit in my retail job in my gap year. I was at Debenhams. I had a part-time job for a few months in my gap year. Basically, they sent me around the store. I was just walking around the shopping mall. Not the shopping mall, the shop. And I had to sell like the company store cards. So that was like my first experience selling. And I guess I did a bit of car washing in my gap year as well. For like £5 a car. That's what I'm always advocating you guys do. It's just good to just knock on doors and then pitch a service. Whether it's cutting someone's grass, car washing, whatever the fuck it is. So that was my only experience really. That's how I got started.
So can absolutely anyone get into sales? Like, does it require a specific type of person? Can you train yourself to become that type of person? Or like, can anyone get into it?
I think some people are naturally better at sales. However, I think that anybody can get better at sales. And I think anybody can sell and everybody should sell. You're always selling yourself in some ways, right? You're either talking to a girl, you're convincing your parents of something, you're talking to business partners, friends, the whole fucking lot. So I think everybody has to be pretty good at sales. But certain people I think are naturally better at sales. But it's not a fucking excuse because I see so many people, you guys say, Hassan, I'm not naturally an extrovert. This is so confusing where to look. Hassan, I'm not an extrovert naturally. Where should I, should I be in sales or should I just focus on like nerdy shit? And I'm like, bro, you still need to be able to sell even if you're not an extrovert, right? You have to be good at selling. At the end of the day, everything in life is selling, right? If you're better at sales, you're going to have better relationships, you're going to make more money. And whether you're an introvert or an extrovert, everyone wants to have more money, better relationships, more happiness, right? So that's kind of my opinion on the whole fucking thing.
So that kind of goes on to the next point. Like, how important is sales in your everyday life? Like, how does it actually impact it? Like, do you have any stories where it has directly impacted it, where you've got better at sales?
Yeah, so I feel like it's one of those things you don't even realize how much it's affected your life because you don't know if it's your just natural confidence or it's because of sales. Sometimes people say to me, oh, Hassan, you're good at speaking, but is it because of sales or is it because of, naturally this is how I speak? I'm not sure. So I think it's kind of difficult to say how much it's impacted my personal life, but I think one thing it's definitely helped in is just how little you care about rejection. When you sell, you literally sell all day. You're trying to sell boilers. You're knocking on doors all day, right? You just become immune to rejection, right? You don't care about getting rejected by anyone, whether it's a business proposal, whether it's a girl, whether it's a friend you're speaking to, whatever. You just you understand it's part of life. Whereas if you've just been working a normal 9-to-5 job for so many months or so many years, you think almost like it's like personal when you get rejected. If someone sends me a DM on Twitter and I say, no, bro, sorry, I'm not interested in that. In fact, what I'll say is, why the fuck aren't you inside New Money? That's what I'll actually say, right? It's not personal. It's just that I can't even see your face. You have no profile picture. You have 3 followers and you're saying to me like, hey bro, let's make money. Like, I am making money. Like, what can you do for me, right? So it's not a personal thing, but it's just that when you're so good at selling and when you've done it for so long, you just become so comfortable with the idea of like, so many people will not like you. But you don't need everyone to like you to be a massive success. Let's say you're a car salesman and every single person walked in the showroom, you made a sale. You'd be a fucking multi-millionaire very quickly, right? It's not about that. It's about 1 in 10, 1 in this, 1 in that. Like, as long as you have a decent-ish percentage with the girls, with cars, with anything, right? With selling anything, you're going to be very, very successful. That's how I see it, man. What about you? What do you think?
So I kind of think the same thing, yeah, like you just need a devote following, and this is kind of the same thing with sales, right? It depends what you're selling though, whereas if you're selling the Debenhams store cards, you need a decent amount of people to really sign up, but if you're selling cars, you're selling solar, you're selling whatever the fuck, you only need a few people to really make a very significant amount of money.
Yeah, 100%. It's the same thing, yeah, exactly the same thing with the store cards, right? With the store cards, I got so many no's, but I got a few people saying yes, and because I only got a couple yeses every 50 people, my manager was so impressed. She was like, wow, Hassan, you're so good at this. Because she used to always say, like, you're just a bit of a dickhead, aren't you? Because I was always just messing around and stuff. I was always on my phone in the changing rooms. But every time I got those 2 sales out of 50 people, 100 people, whatever it was, she was like, oh, you're actually really good at this. Right? Because you don't care about being rejected. You know? And, like, I didn't.
So obviously that helped you back in your previous jobs, working the like Debenhams 9-to-5 kind of job. How does sales...
What's that? Quick flex, guys. Rolex day date. Rolex day date. Rolex. I saw one of the comments in the last video. Someone was like, this guy's not a millionaire. He's wearing an Under Armour jacket with a gold AP. What? If anything, it makes me look more of a baller. Yes, I'll wear the gold AP with the Under Armour jacket. So whoever that was in the comments, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, you don't have to wear like nice outfits.
Fuck you,
like,
bro.
It doesn't mean
I'm doing
you're
you
worth
guys a
money.
favour, sat here in this hotel doing a video. I could be right now having fun, driving the Rari. Like, appreciate it. All right, carry on.
Especially in Dubai as well. Like it's just a different world out here. But so obviously it's helped you in your 9-to-5 in Debenhams and stuff like this back in the day, like back many years ago. But how does your sales knowledge impact your businesses right now? Like how does that help with working with your team? How does the kind of fear of rejection, like how does that help with your actual day-to-day life with your businesses?
Yeah, so it's just even talking to people in real life. Like a lot of my businesses I have to this day, that a lot of them you know about, right? It's like I started those businesses from talking to people in real life. So I think sales is so important in terms of relationships. When I say relationships, I'm not just talking about girls and that's it. I'm talking about your business partners, your close friends who might even be your business partners and girls, right? Everything's related, right? So many of my business partners now I've got from in Dubai, you know? Just talking to them, we start talking and now we're friends. Whether it's online through voice notes or whether it's through the gym or whether it's through in a cigar lounge. You met that econ guy in a cigar lounge a few months ago, I remember. I think it's from Holland or something. Dutch.
Yeah, Dutch.
Dutch dude. And it's like, it's just speaking. He saw your watch.
It was just having the confidence to go up to him. Like I heard the Shopify ka-ching and I was like, oh shit, like looking around and then just started speaking to him, getting to know him. And like, yeah, if I had better sales skills and I could hold myself better, had more confidence, I would have been able to make a much more close connection and stuff like this.
Because everything's just about speaking to different kinds of people. I always say this. Everything you want... By the way, I'm finding this weird. I don't know where to sit and like... Alright, I think this is way better. So, everything you want in life, whether it's money, whether it's girls, whether it's certain connections to certain people, like a position of power, whatever you're going for in life, everything's just from other people. Let's say in school, you know, did you used to have this thing called like head boy?
Yeah.
So it's like that guy's like it's like some bullshit position. It doesn't mean anything, but you know what I mean. Head boy of the year. So if you want to be head boy of the year, you need the people's vote, or you need the headmasters, or
you need the people's vote, kind of.
Yeah, you need
to be able
you
to
need
say
someone in
yourself,
powers. He needs to like you. He needs to validate you. He needs to say, all right, this person Harry, this person Jack, this person Craig. He's going to be the head boy, right? Everything's just about getting other people's approval to some degree. A lot of people go around life saying, oh no, I don't care what people think. And they think like sales is not important. You always have to be selling yourself to other people, because if other people don't like you, you're not going to get anywhere in life. If you want to be anything in this world, you need other people's approval. If you want investors for your company, right? You need other people saying, all right, I believe, look, I invested in you, right? You need other people saying, all right, I trust this guy. Here's a bunch of money. I'm going to invest in you, right? So that's everything in life. You can't just be sat there like, oh, I don't care. I'm Hassan. I don't care what people think. Like, no, I care what people think. You care what other people think of you. You need to. You're not going to survive in this world, which is based on other people just thinking only my opinion matters, right? As you start climbing higher and higher and higher up, you don't care what a certain person's opinion says. But if every single person in these YouTube comments said, Hassan, this video is the shittest video I've ever seen, this had no value for sales, absolute trash, then I'll never make a video like this again, because I'll be like, no one appreciated it. So everything's just about other people's approval and opinion, really. At the end of the day, for you to make millions and millions of pounds, whatever company it's in, you need other people's approval. Even if you want to, I don't know, build this building, right? The person who made this SLS building in Dubai, he must have had some governor or some person above him saying, okay, we can put this building in place, right?
Yeah, investors, yeah.
You can't just say, all right, clip my fingers, now I'm building this building. You need permission from other people above you. So I think everything in life is sales. I think the question was, how does sales apply to actual daily life? I think it's everything, whether it's speaking to the hotel staff, whether it's speaking to someone in the subway giving you a bit more chicken. Everything's just sales. How you speak to people. I remember one of the boys in New Money who was with me, it was Dylan actually. It was when we were in Bali last year. He commented on how I'm always getting away with things. Like in the gym, I was wearing sliders, like flip-flops, right? And I'd always wear sliders and you're supposed to wear shoes. And I'd always find a little excuse and, you know, get away with it, where other people would never, they'd always be caught. So I think it's everything, man.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it's
I
everything.
agree.
How you speak is everything.
I agree.
If you can't speak well, people don't respect you. I was thinking about this the other day. If you had some guy who's super rich, actually no, not super rich, because you're not going to be really super rich. If you had some guy who's super big, super strong guy, who's a fighter, whatever, but he spoke like an actual retard, you would lose respect for him. Obviously, you'd respect his physicality, but you'd think this guy's a bit like he's like a donkey in the head.
Well, you wouldn't want to be friends with him necessarily. You wouldn't want to do business with him, even though he maybe like. There's a lot of people necessarily in the crypto world, right? Like they've made a lot of money in the crypto world, but they have no real kind of people or social skills. Like they're not particularly interesting to be friends with. You're not necessarily going to do business partnerships with them because they don't speak well. They don't present themselves well. So like it literally is everything. Yeah.
When I talk to someone, like within a few seconds, I'm like, okay, I like this person or I don't. Like how you speak is massively correlated with how likable you are, right? They go hand in hand. If you're very obnoxious with the way you speak and people are like, just shut up, you're annoying, and you have no social awareness, people aren't going to like you. And if, let's say, I don't like you, I'll tell Craig, yeah, this person wasn't very good. But there's been lots of times where I said to Craig, yo, you need to meet this person I've met. He's super cool, right? So it's like, if you're a good speaker, you're going to go very far, very far enough. I think it's the top 1 or 2 skills in the world. I really believe it is. I think speaking and sales are the same thing. You can't be good at speaking and then be bad at sales, because if someone likes listening to you, they're allowing themselves to be sold to. You see what I'm saying? Let's say you're talking to a girl and she sat there with her back towards you, right? You can't close the girl. You're not going to get with the girl. You're not going to move forwards with the girl. But if she's allowing you to talk and she's actually engaging with you, she's listening to you, she's actively listening to what you have to say, she's allowing herself to be sold. She's allowing herself to be seduced. So I think how you speak is everything. I really do.
So you've already kind of touched on this, but how has your sales ability affected your networking with other people, and your particular like relationships with women as well, when like approaching women and things like this?
I mean, it's kind of similar to the point about the whole how does it affect your daily life. I think it's kind of the same point. I think just that people take you more seriously when they know you don't give a fuck. Even in new money, right? Look at the way I market new money, right? Just now, before we start this podcast, I was saying on the Telegram channel how... By the way, if you guys are coming from YouTube or you're coming from Twitter, make sure you join my free Telegram channel. That's where I'm mainly active. But yeah, even in my free Telegram channel just now, I was talking about how, I didn't really give a fuck with what I was saying, right? I don't take it too seriously. So when you don't take yourself too seriously and you know rejection is never personal, I think it just massively helps you in all areas of your life. I think we kind of touched on that before. I just wanted to touch on the previous point. We were talking about speaking. I was going to say, you need to learn how to talk differently to different kinds of people, because I think this is most people's mistake. They think it's like fake if you talk differently to different kinds of people. Like the way you talk to your parents is different than the way you talk to your friends, and the way it's different than the way you talk to people in the door. It's just part of selling. So with selling, one of the main things you learn is just you need to talk differently to different kinds of people. It's just so fucking obvious to me, but some people don't realize this, right?
Some people have a problem with that. Like some friends have mentioned to me before, like, oh, you speak differently around this person and this person, but it's just you're morphing your kind of personality to just work within the situation, right? Like some situations you're going to be naturally quieter and listen more. Some situations you're going to talk more and be more kind of dominant within the conversation.
You need to be, a chameleon?
Yeah.
You need to be like a chameleon, right? You need to just change your skin, change the way you talk, change the way you move in certain rooms. Because if you're always the person who talks the most in the room, you're going to be very disliked. But certain times it's best to talk a lot. If everyone was asking you questions about ecom, or they're asking you questions about, how was your experience just last week in Poland, or whatever it was, like 3 weeks ago, whenever it was, right? They want to know your experience in Poland. You can't be like, yo, it's good. How's your experience been? They haven't been. They're asking you. So at different times, you have to be, you have to change how much you speak.
Yeah. Whereas if no one's asking you any questions and you're just bringing up your own kind of stuff, you're not going to be liked so much. You got to just be aware of that.
100%,
So
man.
in your Telegram channel, you often talk about the small details when selling and how those small details are very, very important. Do you have any examples of where, like, particular things where people make big mistakes when it comes to the small details in, like, maybe tonality or speech or anything really, like the smaller details?
Yeah, I think so. Even with my door-to-door sales team at the start, a lot of people didn't realize how much a difference it makes when you knock on the door in certain ways. Because I learned this mistake myself. I learned from this myself. Because what I used to do is sometimes I just if I wasn't thinking properly and I was thinking about the previous door, I was like, why did that person just slam the door in my face? I'd knock on the door like really hard, and then they would open the door and say like, why have you just knocked on my door really hard? And I'm like, I didn't. And they're like, you did, mate. I was like, all right, like, sorry, like, I didn't mean to. So, you know, you don't realize a lot of these small things, but these things make a big difference, because now already I'm in a bit of a defensive position. I'm like, oh, my bad, and oh, so I'm actually here to sell you. You know, it's like it's a very bad dynamic. It's a very bad frame. You want to start off everything professional. So how you knock, how you dress, everything makes a difference, right? I'm saying this as I'm sat like this. But yeah, maybe you could argue this is deliberate. I'm not going to wear a suit and then put on a fake persona to try and impress you guys and be like, yeah, man, this is how I, you know. No, this is my normal how I dress. So I'll wear this in a podcast, and if you relate with it, you relate with it. I'll see you inside New Money. Those of you who are inside New Money already, you know this is how I am, and at the end of the day, hopefully you guys learn something from this video. You motherfuckers are going to learn something from this video. So that's kind of how I am. I'm not going to try and change how I am when I'm selling something like New Money. But when it's something like boilers, I can't knock on the door and say, I can't knock on the door and be like, look, mate, you know, I'm here representing this company, and I'm actually just going to wear a Nike Tech tracksuit.
Because you're like a complete chav, you wouldn't have any professionalism.
I'd have no trust.
It doesn't fit the... Yeah, you have no trust.
And also, with boilers, I have to sell there and then in the moment. Whereas with something like New Money, you guys can watch this video. A lot of you won't even watch the video the whole way through because you're fucking lazy. You'll be like, oh, I need to watch it 5 minutes here, 3 hours here, 2 minutes here, right? You're lazy. So it doesn't need to be like, I'm selling to you this minute, right? A lot of you will just watch this video, then you watch the previous podcast on my channel, and then you'll be like, oh, wow, okay, this guy's actually a genius. Then you listen to my free Telegram channel, you'll be like, wow, this guy's super intelligent. I need to join New Money, right? Then you'll see all the testimonials, you'll be like, oh, okay, the trust keeps building and building and building. It's not like this second right now, I have to be perfect. I just have to be myself. You see what I'm saying? Whereas with boilers, you're not trying to be yourself. You're trying to be a perfect door-to-door salesman who's explaining everything to them perfectly. Like right now, if we planned this podcast, imagine we had it like, I mean, you got a couple of questions written down from the New Money Boys on your phone, but imagine we had it like different chapters. Chapter 1 on body language, chapter 2 on speaking, it'd be obviously a better podcast. But then again, I feel like it's more natural like this, and I'll get certain stories and certain points out that I wouldn't get otherwise. So
it's not so authentic and natural, and just, I think a lot of people, yes, different people want different things, right? Whereas if you're sending this to like some 60-year-old woman that wants to buy a fucking boiler, like this doesn't work, right?
Yeah.
You want it to be more structured, whereas this kind of thing does work for the Twitter audience, for New Money guys, stuff like this. That's what they like.
Again, it goes back to that previous point. You have to know how to talk differently to different people, right? That is completely the case.
So when it comes to like learning these things, how did you actually start learning your sales stuff? Did you take some kind of like formal training? Were you given formal training, or was it just kind of rough training?
Yeah.
Loads of experience. How did you learn?
Yeah, so I remember my door-to-door sales manager telling me every fucking door is the same. Every sale is the same. And I remember thinking to myself, that's not true. I remember thinking to myself, that's not completely true, right? But then as time went on, I realized every single door is the same. It's completely the same, right? Because people might have different objections. People might have different concerns. People might have different... It's too close.
A little bit, yeah.
I feel like it's too far now.
That's too far. If you're
There's that
sitting
background
back.
noise. I'm not sure if they can hear me. Nah, they can hear me, right? Surely. So every person would have their own concerns, their own problems, their own personality, but ultimately it's the same thing. If they thought the boiler was actually legit and it was going to help them, and it was a brand new boiler with a guarantee, they're going to take it. It's superior over their current boiler, because everyone has a boiler, and the people who didn't have a boiler we couldn't sell to, right? That I can't sell to those people.
Yeah.
So because they had to replace the boiler, that's part of the scheme. Excuse me. So if they thought that the boiler I'm giving them is legit, it's a brand new boiler, Worcester Bosch boiler, Valiant boiler, whatever, right? Then it's superior. So they're going to buy it. If not, and they don't trust me, well then, you know, they're not going to go ahead with it. So ultimately, it was just a case of building up trust with these people. And I realized every sale was completely the same. Either they trusted me or they didn't. And it was very much binary like that. Now, it is a spectrum. Either they really trust me or they really don't. Because sometimes they trust you kind of, but then something will be telling them, fuck it. Let's just go for it. What's the worst that's going to happen? It's not like me, because, you know, the paperwork we got, it wasn't exactly very extensive. It's not like they were telling me the most crazy personal things. They were just putting their name, phone number, address, and I was already at their address, right? A couple of things. It's not very deep. It's not very personal. So they were probably thinking to themselves, okay, what's the worst that can happen? And I'm sure a lot of people who join New Money, they're on the edge, right? It's normal. You're going to be a little bit on the edge. You're a little bit apprehensive. You're a little bit nervous. You're a little bit, I bought something in the past from the internet. I'm not sure. But ultimately, when they're on the edge, they're probably thinking, what's the worst that can happen? And I say this to people. You guys listening to this right now who are on the fence about joining New Money, what is the worst that can happen? You lose the entry fee? Like, you're going to get access to Craig, you're going to get access to myself, you're going to get access to other 1,000 people inside of the group. Like, worst case scenario, say the live calls are awful. Say the videos inside of the group that you've done, some other people have done, that we've done, right? They're awful. Say all the people in the group giving game are awful. All the information is awful. You're still going to get access to 1,000 people. A bunch of those people are going to be in your city if you're from Europe or America or Canada or Australia or wherever, right? You're still going to get access to 1,000 people. So how bad can it really be, right? And then that's probably what goes through people's head. Because I remember asking people, like, what made you go for it? And a lot of people said, yeah, man, I listened to all your voice notes. I really like them, but it's just I've been burned in the past. I've been scammed in the past online, so I wasn't sure about buying. And I said, okay, so what made you actually just pull the trigger? And then they were saying, yeah, ultimately I thought to myself, what really could go wrong joining a online community with a bunch of online money makers?
I kind of thought the same thing. I was on the edge. You hopped on a call with me and it gave me more trust, obviously. But then at the end of the day, like, what is really the worst that can happen? Especially with the kind of stuff you were selling on door-to-door before. Like, you want to remove as much friction and remove as much kind of like concern from them as possible. But there is always that kind of little leap most people are going to take. Some people are going to be 100% sold and almost sell themselves to you. And then most people are going to always take that little kind of leap, in my experience.
Yeah.
So what are kind of, going back to kind of door-to-door and stuff like this.
I just had a point to mention there. Hold on. I just lost it. So doesn't matter.
Okay. So going back to door-to-door, you mentioned that it's literally just trust. Like, your job was to create trust. What are like the 3 number 1 things that you did to actually create trust with those customers, and how did it change based upon who you were speaking to? If you're speaking to like a 23-year-old or a fucking 75-year-old.
Yeah, good question. So top 3 things, probably the pictures on my phone. I've told you a lot of these points will relate back to the other podcast because we mentioned this before, but one point about how I used to have pictures on my phone, right, of all the previous people I've sold to. So like, let's say I'm knocking on your door right now and I've got a picture with John, Peter and Sam over here, right? And I show you and you're doubtful, like, oh, because what I'll do is I won't wait for the Craig to say to me, oh yeah, I'm doubtful. I'll bring it up, I'll be like, sir, and I'll make a bit of a joke about like, why do you seem like I'm about to rob your house? Or why do you seem like you're just super unsure? And I like smile a bit as well, like just be a bit friendly. And then he'd be like, oh, it's not that, it's just that, I've not really had many people knock on my door before. Or, it's not that. It's just that last person who knocked on my door, it turned out they were selling some weird thing. And I'm like, oh, sir, like, I can, like, if it's a younger guy, I'll be like, mate, I completely understand. Like, it's completely normal. If you knocked on my door, I'll be like, who the fuck are you? And I'm the fucking door-to-door salesman. I get it, right? I get it completely. But look, I can show you completely what we're doing is completely legit. Here's my name tag. Here's our company name. Here's I can show you a bunch of pictures if you want on my phone. I wouldn't just pull out my phone. A lot of times I'll just say, I can show you a bunch of pictures on my phone of all the people on your street who we've sold to already. Like, surely that would make you feel a bit more comfortable, right? Because I have nothing to hide, so you can ask me whatever you want, mate. And then they're like, yeah, that'll be good. I'm like, all right, here you go. So, Susan on your street, blah, blah, blah. We'll talk about that. That was one thing. Having the name tag and overall having a business card, that helped as well, because I know it sounds such a small thing, but it just helps. And overall, the just pure sheer conviction I had in what I was selling. I think that's half the reason why people join New Money. Purely conviction. And the thing is, you can try and fake conviction, but I believe it's so... I really believe that a lot of times with New Money, and even just with boilers, people are on the edge. They're on that knife edge, but just my conviction pushed them through. And it's like, I really believe you can't fake that, because when you're on the knife edge, when you're on that edge, it can go this way or this way. It's just people's gut instinct. And if someone's gut instinct is like, I trust this person, they buy from you. Always. So even if I show them the picture, they might be thinking, oh, that's a fake. They might
think something else weird, especially in door-to-door, like you're literally right in front of the person. Like they can just like kind of look in your eyes and just tell if you're chatting shit or not. Like a lot of people have that kind of gut feeling if you're just a fucking idiot.
It was actually funny the other day in someone was trying to join New Money. I hopped on a quick call with them, right? I thought it's quicker just hop on a quick call with them and then go back and forth on text. And this guy, because I might have been too smooth, and I mentioned this point in my previous podcast about how sometimes you're too good at selling. So I was too smooth with this guy, too quick to answer the phone. He was like, I want to join, but I almost feel like this is AI. He thought that me on the Zoom call was AI. He's like, you know how I was like, what? He's like, you know how that Joe Biden has the AI software, so it looks like you're... It's like he's like in a Call of Duty lobby. I was like, no, mate, this is me, Hassan. He's like, are you sure? I was like, yeah. I was like, I can hold 3 fingers up. I can hold like however many fingers you want me to hold to prove it's me in the moment. He's like, nah, this is AI. I was like, okay, mate, like, it's not. Like, I don't know what to say. I was like, this guy's fucking retard. That's what I was just thinking. Obviously, then this was very rude. He just ended the call, so I blocked him. He's never allowed to join again. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make, right, is some people are unsellable. And that's another sales point in general. When someone's unsellable, you shouldn't get stressed over it. You shouldn't be worried about it. Like, oh no, I lost this person. Like, it was nothing I could do. I hopped on a call with him. I showed him testimonials. I think he was from Australia. I said, mate, I can put you on the phone with some other Australians from New Money right now. I did everything I could have done. That's fine. The group was clearly not meant for him. I'm so glad he didn't join the group. Imagine if he joined the group and he just sat there like a fucking retard. Like, bro, are you real people speaking right now or are you AI bots?
And that's the power of selling your own product as well. Like you have the ability to say no, and it kind of gives you more conviction in selling it if you have the freedom to say fuck off and no. Whereas like if you got $0 left in your fucking bank account and you need that sale, it's completely different, and you're not going to be able to sell it as well as if you've got fucking 50 sales that day already and you're already fucking however much up.
And sometimes you get it wrong, right? Well, wrong. So yesterday actually someone messaged the admin and they paid the admin and then we added them in New Money. So I blocked this person on Telegram. So I previously had blocked this person because he was pissing me off. He took too long. Now, he really wanted to join. Now, obviously, in the moment, it's not like I thought, oh, he'll never join. It's just I didn't like the fact they had to think about it. Like, no, if you want to join New Money, get in. Why do you have to think about it? I spent my time explaining it to you. You should get in, right? If it's for you, you'd get it. Now, obviously, this guy, he just needed a bit more time to probably, I don't know, whatever. And now he messaged the admin, paid, and now he's inside of the group. Now, you could argue maybe I got it wrong. Maybe he was going to join. He just needed another week of being in my Telegram channel. I'm not sure. The point I'm trying to make is it doesn't matter. Because overall, by having this personality of, all right, this person's unsellable, this person's sellable, and just saying, fuck you, all right, this person's cool, all right, let's chase up on this guy, you're going to end up making way more sales. And it's the exact same thing with boilers. This is what I tell my sales team. It's like, forget these people are unsellable. It's like, even if they were sellable, if you spent an extra 7 minutes talking to them, it's so much better just to focus on the people who are sellable. Get referrals from these people. All right, talk to James. All right, James says, yep, 3 streets down, my mum lives there. She wants the boiler. It's better to just go straight to James's mum's house instead of trying to spend 7 minutes talking to this grandma who's pretty much never going to buy. Yes, if we spoke to 100 grandmas, 7% of the time maybe we'd get them 7 sales, right, out of 1,000, let's say. 1,000 grandmas who are on the fence. It's better just to talk to the James, the young guy who's pretty interested, than talk to the grandmas who are never going to buy. So some people are just unsellable.
So going back to like being almost too smooth and too quick and too in the kind of process and the flow of like your script, let's say, do you try and change it up? Do you do like little tactics to do that? Like if you're doing door to door and you have your script, are you following that word for word? No. Is that just a lot of experience based? Like what do you do?
I don't believe in scripts too much because how can you say the same thing to every single person and everyone's different, right? Yes, every sale is the same. Yes, people have the same kind of objections. But what I'll say to you is different than what I say to this person. Sometimes you have people trying to join New Money because they want to move companies, they want to move their company to Dubai, such as yourself. So when I was on the phone with you, I wasn't saying, yeah, mate, we can help you with e-com because you're already doing e-com and you're doing good in e-com. I said, yeah, we have people in e-com, but yeah, you're already killing in e-com. But yeah, of course, mate, I'll help you with your setting up the company to Dubai. At the time, I hadn't even set up my company to Dubai, but it's such an easy process and I knew I was going to do it. So I said, yeah, I'll help you. And then we did help each other.
Yeah.
So, sales are just adapting to whoever is on the phone, whoever's at the door, right? When I have someone on the door who's saying to me, look, mate, we had a previous company knock on our door last week, but they were saying to us that it's going to cost £2,000. I'll be like, look, mate, with our boilers, it's fully funded. It's not going to cost £2,000. That's his objection. His objection isn't that I don't believe this is a real boiler. I don't believe that you're a scam company. His objection is it going to cost me £2,000 because I ain't got £2,000 to my name? That's their objection. But if it's some old man on the door who's saying, look, I don't understand why it's fully funded. I find it suspicious that it's free. Why am I giving you my name and my address and my phone number? It's very suspicious. Then I have to handle a different objection. Like, look, we're a real company. Here's previous sales we made. These are the pictures on my phone. Here's my name tag. You can call my manager right now. We have an office based in this location. You know, I handle it differently. So it's just depending on what they say. I don't believe too much in the script because ultimately it doesn't matter what you say. Like sometimes someone messages me, they're saying they're trying to join you money, and I'll send them a picture of like the hotel I'm in. And I'll be like, yeah, mate, I'm a bit busy right now. I'll message you back in a few minutes. It kind of breaks the ice. And it's because it's actually realistic. I'm just getting out my car, giving the car keys to the valet. Instead of replying to a voice note there and then, I might just send them a message, be like, give me 5 minutes, we'll do a quick call. Sometimes I'll just send a voice note and I'll do the quick call as I'm in the elevator. It doesn't matter. It's the same thing with door to door. Like, sometimes I'll be really polite, sometimes I wouldn't be as polite, sometimes I'll be more direct. It just depends on the overall vibe you get. You guys gotta remember something. Humans are very, very smart at picking up signs. You know? Someone's gut instinct is very, very accurate. Humans literally evolved, right, to read human behavior.
So if you're not very confident, like if you're not like naturally that kind of outgoing kind of person, that extroverted, very large social circle, how do you build that kind of intuition and that kind of just understanding of people? Is it literally just reps, just more calls, more doors? Like, is it literally just that, or are there things that you can do
to become more confident?
Yeah. And become more like intuitive of what people actually want, like understanding people better.
Again, I always say this always depends. Like, say you're posting on social media. I think one of the best exercises or mental exercises you can do is just tell yourself you're a fucking nobody. Go walk on the street right now, see if anybody remembers you or notices you. No one notices you. No one remembers you, right? No one sat there thinking, oh wow, look at Craig from Twitter. Like, have you ever been recognized in real life?
No.
Right.
Not.
Exactly.
No one gives a fuck.
No one cares. So imagine all those times when Craig was like thinking, oh, I wonder what I should tweet. Doesn't matter, right? A lot of you guys just, it's all in your head. Nothing matters. I've been recognized and I have 68k followers or whatever it is. I've been recognized what?
A handful?
7 times in my life, 8 times in my life over the last like 1 or 2 years.
And in specific, like kind of high internet kind of areas like Dubai.
Yeah, in Dubai.
Like,
like 5 of them I think were in Dubai. So it's very much like, it's all in your head. So I think that's a good little mental exercise to have. It's like, keep reminding yourself that nothing matters. And I like telling myself there's 8 billion people. Like sometimes, and this is maybe one of the reasons why I chose this location for this podcast. If you look out here in Dubai, I'm not sure if you guys can see the view very well. Look at how many buildings are in the background. Like people are just filling these buildings up. There's people in all these buildings, in these hotels. Right now, this hotel has got fucking thousands of people probably. Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
There's like 60 floors or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like a fucking lot of floors.
Multiple people in it. Actually way more than thousands. A couple thousand people in this hotel, right? I don't know. The point is each building has thousands and thousands of people, right? Even they don't know what I do, or they don't care about what I do. If I go talk to those Lebanese chicks before, or that fat bitch in the elevator, I was just trolling this fat bitch saying, hello, I want your Instagram. I don't want her Instagram, she's fat as fuck. You guys should know I hate fat people. So she was fat as fuck. Obviously I didn't want her Instagram, but the point is I just spoke to her because I thought, fuck it. I like just doing things. It just gives me more confidence because I'm always doing things. And when you do things, it gives you confidence. Confidence breeds confidence. Doing things breeds doing things. So if you just put yourself out there more, it's the best exercise. Yeah, don't just sit there and try and sell boilers all day, or you're cold calling, whatever your job is. But if you're just out there talking to different people, and a lot of you guys might be comfortable talking to guys who you're friends with, but then you're not comfortable talking to people in the gym, or you're not comfortable talking to girls, you're not comfortable talking to people in the bar. But then when you've had a sip of, okay, this is an interesting exercise I find. Let's say right now this was booze. If I drank all this booze, right, I'd be more confident. But why? And that's something I've analyzed in the past. Why am I more confident?
I think it removes part of your like ego and self-esteem and stuff like this, and changes, just like removes a lot of negativity from your mind.
Yeah, but okay, so why can't I just tell myself I feel like this all the time without the booze?
You can. Kind of.
And this is what I've basically done. This is the reason why I don't give a fuck now. People say, oh, Hassan, you're crazy. Like, your voice notes are crazy. This is crazy. That's crazy. I'm like, this tweet was crazy. Like, who the fuck are you? I don't care what you think. Like, you're watching me right now. And I'm not saying this in an insulting way. I'm saying this in a... I don't know who's watching this video. Donald Trump Jr. could be watching this video. Donald Trump could be watching this video. Conor McGregor could be watching this video. Right? In a few years, they probably will when these clips go viral. Right? I don't know. I don't care. They're watching me. I'm not watching them right now. You see what I'm saying? So you can't control who watches your videos. You can't control what people think of you. You can't control how people perceive you. I mean, you can control how people perceive you, but ultimately, they're going to think what they're going to think. Certain people are not going to like me because they're going to be like, oh, this guy's not Irish. Certain people won't like me because I haven't got blue eyes. Right? I can't be sat there thinking, oh no, I can't post a video. I can't talk to this person. Can't talk to that person. So many people let the smallest things affect them. They're not happy with how they look. They're not happy with how they speak. They're not happy with their current social life. And they're scared to then go and talk to other people and improve their life. You're never going to get anywhere like that.
So, changing the topic a bit, in New Money, you talk about the kind of new money mindset and the kind of new day and stuff like this.
I'm fucking starving. So you guys, maybe that's why I'm slightly lower energy. I feel fucking starving. Can we call room service or some shit?
Yeah, we can call room service. It's quite late as well. It's like 1 a.m. right now. But do you want to answer that question or get food first, or what do you want to do?
They can wait. I'm going to get room service.
So guys, we took a little bit of a break just to grab some food, but we're now back at it. The next question we're going to be answering and talking about is objections. So how do you deal with objections, and especially how do you deal with an objection if you don't actually know how to fucking deal with the objection? Is it just fucking chatting shit, or like what do you do?
I think one of the best things you can do is sales. By the way, I feel so much fucking better after eating. So, I mean, it depends, right? What kind of objection are we talking about? Because you're saying you don't know how to handle it. So, for example, with boilers, I think I've mentioned this before. But if I genuinely didn't know the answers to that question, because sometimes they'd ask about the underfloor insulation, they'll be like, so what is the underfloor insulation made of? How does that work? What about if it, what about if it starts, the floorboards start flooding and there's, what happens? And sometimes I'd answer a little bit, like all I knew. And I'd be like, look, mate, look, sir, look, madam, like, I'm being completely honest with you. This is all I know at the moment because I've only worked here 4 weeks. Now, even if I'd worked 9-10 weeks, I'd say I only worked 4 weeks, right? Because, excuse me, it doesn't do me any favor saying, yeah, I've been here 6 months and I don't know the answer to this question. You know what I'm saying? It's better just to say, all right, I've worked here 4 weeks. I'm a bit unsure. I've not been asked this question before. Let me just call my sales manager for you. Now, even if I knew the answer, a lot of the time I'd call the manager anyway, just to build more trust. Because if they see me call the manager in front of them, it kind of puts me in their mind as a problem solver. When they think of Hassan, they think problem solver. So why would they not refer me to their mum, their cousin? Because no one wants to send someone to go install a boiler. Well, I'm not the one installing, but this person who represents this company to install a boiler for my mum, for my cousin, when he's just he's an idiot, he doesn't know what he's doing. So if I show them that I can call, get an answer like this, and also that builds more trust, right? Even within New Money, sometimes I'm on a Zoom call and someone's like, they basically are about to join. But I'm like, you know what? Give me a second. I'll message someone in New Money. A lot of time it's you, a lot of time it's someone else, anyone. I'll message them like, hey bro, come on the Zoom call right now. Just talk to this guy. This guy's also from Toronto in Canada. Talk to this guy, right? Just tell him your experience in New Money. Tell him how you're obviously in Toronto. Cool. The guy, let's say Evan, right? He's from Canada. He'll reply within 3 seconds and I'll add him on the Zoom call. The guy on the Zoom call will be like, wow, like that was very good social proof. And I'll say, look, like I'll flex on him on the call. I'll be like, look, G, I told you, that's how New Money rolls. 3 seconds, you get a response. Imagine if I had a question right now, you had a question for me saying, Hassan, I'm stuck with my business with this problem, with this problem. You know I'm the kind of guy who can just message Evan, message Craig, message Peter. You know what I'm saying? So I think that builds a lot of trust. People just want to know you're a problem solver. That's why they pay you money. That's why they go and trust your company. They trust you, right? If people look at you as the kind of person who can just solve their problems, they'll trust you. Because even if they don't believe in the product that much, even if they don't believe in the product that much, if they believe in you as a person, then they'll buy from you, right? So for example, with the whole New Money stuff, you guys might be sat there thinking, oh, I'm unsure about the network because I'm unsure myself. Isn't you're talking about yourself? Oh, me, I'm just an average guy at university. Like, yeah, I know Hassan's doing well. I know New Money's going to be good, but I don't know if I can provide value to the group. I don't know, right? Did you have these thoughts or?
Not really.
Right, because you're doing much better.
I was doing well before I joined the group, so I was in that kind of position. But yeah, a lot of people think that. A lot of people ask, like sometimes you put in the Telegram channel, like message Craig if you want to ask any questions kind of thing.
Yeah.
People hit me up anyways, right? And that's a big question, like, oh, I don't know if I can add value to the group. I don't know if I'm in the right position to join the group, and it's a very common question.
Yeah, a lot of people are unsure if they can help. So it's not a case of they don't trust me or they don't trust the group, they don't trust themselves. But if they really trust in you and your ability to solve problems, they trust the fact that you, as in me, can help them give value, help them with all these things.
I think I've spoken to some people before. I think we spoke to maybe some people that do like gym workout plans and stuff like that. Like the biggest objection for them is not necessarily the program, because the program's going to work. It's more that the person doesn't trust themselves to actually use the program and use things correctly, right? So you got to kind of overcome that, and it's a difficult thing to do.
Yeah, completely. At the end of the day, people either, like a classic objection is they don't believe in themselves, especially if it's a product that's like you're promising them, not promising them, but like you're almost, the main marketing angle is you're promising them that they're going to transform their life. When I say to you guys, join New Money, I'm saying and I'm promising you that you're going to change your life, you're going to transform your life, and I 100% believe in that, right? So I'm not promising you're going to be a multi-millionaire quickly, because that takes time. But what I am promising is every single person will transform their life, they'll change their life. I promise you that it'll be the best decision of your life. That's what I do promise. Right? So I'm promising a transformation. If you're promising a transformation just like a personal trainer would, he's saying, I'm going to help you lose fat in 6 weeks, in 8 weeks, in 12 weeks. When you're promising a transformation, it's very, very important that they trust you. And also, so that's one objection. Because maybe one objection is they don't trust you, the person selling. Another objection is they don't trust themselves. Another objection is they don't trust certain parts of what you say. Maybe someone doesn't believe in the fact that, you know, they can lose fat in 6 weeks. Maybe if you said 12 weeks, they'll believe it. So maybe you have to hop on a call with them and say, look, you will start losing fat in 6 weeks. Is it the results you're after? No, probably not in 6 weeks, no. But after 3 months, if you follow my program, you listen to what I say, you follow my diet plan, yeah, there's a very, very good chance you are going to get the results you want. And look, I understand the concern. You don't want to spend all your money on this program and then not make the results that we've promised in these 12 weeks. Well, this is what we can do, right? What we can do is, if you don't get the gains that you're happy with within 12 weeks, we're going to extend the program for you. They're going to be sat there like, okay, I trust this person anyway because he's in very good shape and he's giving me game. I trust this person because, you know, he's talking directly to me. He's telling me that if I don't make the gains in 12 weeks, like, you're answering all their concerns in their head. The thing is, people have like a list of concerns, a list of objections in their head. You have to just deal with every single objection or they won't buy. If there's one single objection that's making someone think, I'm not sure about this, they won't buy. So for example, with you and New Money, you wanted to join because you told me you wanted to like have good friends all around the world. But your concern, I guess, was, I mean, you were not concerned necessarily. You just wanted to have someone help you set up a company in Dubai. As soon as that got answered, you're like, all right, I'm buying, I'm joining.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Do you try and deal with the objections before they get asked a lot of the time? Is that kind of like a way to do it? Or do you try and let them ask, like, well, how do you do it? Like, is it better to deal with the objections first? Because we mentioned this before. Like, is it better to do it like that a lot? I know it's very contextual though, but...
Yeah, of course, everything I'm saying, by the way, guys, is contextual, but you just have to apply certain things to your own lives. But yeah, a lot of the times what I like to do is I like to handle objections multiple at once, right? It's like in like fighting, you throw combinations, you don't just throw one punch at a time. It's kind of the same thing with sales. I believe in handling objections multiple objections at one go. If I just answer one question at a time, it's hard to like string a proper point together, like a proper actual sentence. If I'm just answering like yes, no, right? If I'm just answering yes, no, blah, 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 they might start asking 75 questions. So let me give you an example. For example, let's say they're asking me about boilers, right? Then they say, what could they ask me about boiler? You ask me a question.
Is the boiler more energy efficient?
Right, okay, to be honest, no, hardly anyone asks that. But
I don't know.
Okay, yeah, if someone says, is it more energy efficient? I'll be like, yes, absolutely. That's actually the reason why the boilers are fully funded. The reason why they're fully funded is because the government are trying to make the, you know, society, the environment more efficient, because you know how everything nowadays is all about renewable energy and all that kind of stuff. And like, as I'm saying, I'm talking with energy, I'm making them agree with me. I'm saying, look, you know what I'm on about, right? That's what I'm subconsciously telling them. That's what I'm kind of doing with my body language, you know? I'm saying, like, you know how it is in this society nowadays, you know how it is in the environment nowadays. Everyone's talking about paper straws, this, paper bags, you know, all this fucking paper bag bullshit, renewable energy. So yeah, of course, that's actually the government's main objective. They're, you know, in talks with all these big energy companies. They're all collabing together, they're working together to make the environment more efficient. Also, and then I'll deal on to another point, I'd say, you're probably also wondering why it's free then. And then I'll answer that point, I just answer all the different points and just kind of go from there. Because if I just said, yeah, what was the question you saying about the whole energy? Why is it?
That was my question.
Is it more
energy efficient? But
Yeah,
the
so-
overarching question is like objections before they ask or like after?
Both. It depends. You want to do a bit of both. Because if let's say you ask me a question like, is it more energy efficient? And I say, it's more energy efficient, and then boom, 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 I make 10 points, you're going to be sat there thinking,
The fuck, yeah.
like, why is this guy talking so much and he's not letting me speak and ask me the questions? But sometimes I'll say, yes, it is more energy efficient. Then next point they'll say, oh, I was just wondering about this. And if I know that if they seem pretty doubtful, what I'll do is you put like 3 or 4 points together handling 3 or 4 different objections. Then you be like, look, and then you kind of just take them to the next stage, because what ends up happening with a lot of salespeople is they answer one objection, then another objection, then another objection, and they're scared to go for that final punch, that final close. And then it's just constant, like, you're almost waiting for them to ask questions. You should just be like, all right, so should we just sign the paperwork now? That's it. That's literally, I've told you everything. It's just a case of signing the paperwork now, and we can book a meeting for the surveyor, and then the installer is going to come around a couple of days later, and then he's going to solve that for you. I'm not the guy, and I'll say that as well as I'm saying. I'll be like, I'm not the guy who's going to install the boiler. I'm not the guy who's going to survey the property. I'm just the guy who does the paperwork. So all I need from you right now, sir, is just take a 2 minutes out your time. It'll be like 5, 10. I'll just say 2, 3. It'll be like just a couple minutes. We'll finish this paperwork right now, and then we can call the office right now and book a time with the surveyors when they're going to come around. Are you free tomorrow? By saying it like that, point, they're not going to say, actually, mate, I was just wondering, but I've answered all his questions. I've told him it's going to be a few minutes, because then, by saying it's only going to be a few minutes, right, he can't bring up the objection of,
Oh, it's going to take too long.
I'm a
like
bit
this,
busy,
I'm a bit
mate.
busy.
I'm a bit busy. The kids are...
That's what everyone like door-to-door stuff. Busy, yeah.
So I've answered that. I've dealt with that problem. So then they haven't even got the audacity, even if they want to make an excuse, right? Even if they want to lie to me and say, you know what, I don't want to go ahead with it. They can't say to me it's because I'm busy. I've said to you it's 2 minutes, right? I've dealt with the problem of I'm not just some... Because deep in their mind, they're going to be thinking, this kid, is he just... is he behind everything? No, I'm just a salesman. I'm just here after your money. I'm just here after the commission, right? Because I get commission when you sign that paperwork. And I'll say that to people. I'll say, look, I know what you're probably thinking. You're probably thinking, what's this young guy doing at your door? Right? Like, what does he know? Like, I understand it, mate, because if I knocked on my mum's door, she didn't know who I was, she'd be thinking the same thing. And I kind of laugh a bit like, ha ha. He's like laughing as well, like, ha ha, yeah. Right? Because he sat there thinking he's some 40-year-old genius, And I'm just some dumb 20-year-old at the time. I'm 23, by the way, now, guys, but at the time I was 20, right? So you just handle multiple objections at once. I really believe that's how sales works. I don't think you can be a good salesman if you just answer one question at a time, because then you have you don't control the frame at all. It's like even if a girl's talking to you and she's asking you questions, right? Where were you yesterday? What time? Like, if she just keeps asking questions, it's too... If you look at all the best people handling interviews or handling questions, they always string multiple points together, so then they kind of control the frame of the questions.
Yeah, how it works. Does the kind of door-to-door life, does that compare drastically to the kind of objection? Is it very similar to the objections you would get and the way you deal with the objections you would get, like, for new money kind of stuff? Like, are those similar objections?
I mean, objections
or, like,
are always going to be similar.
overarching?
They're always going to be similar, as in, like, people are always going to be thinking, is this worth my energy? Is this worth my time? Is this worth my money? Is this worth my whatever? And with the boilers, a lot of the time, they don't pay anything, depending on if they fit the criteria, blah, blah, blah. But they don't pay anything. So I have to handle the objection of, is this worth their time? Is this worth their energy? Is this worth them listening to me at the door, right? It's kind of the same thing with new money. Right now, you guys who are listening to this podcast right now, I'm convincing you, I'm selling you on the idea of watching this podcast. If right now you didn't find this interesting at all, you didn't find this valuable, then you would have clicked off the podcast. Do you see what I'm saying? So you're always selling in life. You're always sat there selling something, even if it's just selling the idea of someone listening to you. Why have I got 16,000 people on my Telegram channel? Because 16,000 people thought my voice notes and the pictures I post in there were worth being in that Telegram channel. It was worth the mental energy of seeing a picture, worth a voice note, you know what I mean? Getting that notification on their screen.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess it's similar, but at the same time, it's not, because with boilers, we try to sell to everyone. With new money, I'm not trying to sell to everyone. If it's not for you, I'm not trying to sell it to you, right?
Yeah, it's the power of having your own offer, having your own product kind of thing. So,
but recently, last 10 days, I've told you about this, I'm trying to get into the whole... I mean, I was in it before, but I wasn't really taking it seriously. But now I'm really trying to take it seriously, helping people actually set up companies in Dubai. That's like a new business idea I'm working on. And I don't care who you are. I want to sell that to everyone because it doesn't affect my life if you're a piece of shit, but I get the commission and the money for helping you move to Dubai. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it makes sense.
So it depends on what the product is. Whereas with New Money, I'm actually going to see you in the group. I'm going to see you on the live calls. You're going to be in my universe. Then it affects me. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it makes sense.
It's like for you don't want to hire any staff member, right, for your e-com, for your warehouse, because you don't want to deal with the
headache and the bullshit and stuff like that. No, you just want specific people. Yes, there is similar things there. Yeah, like I don't want some fucking retard. And if I have some retard, I can just tell them to fuck off at any point. Whereas like I have that power, right? I'm not begging for staff members. Whereas at certain times I am begging for staff members. So like Christmas, Q4, I'm literally like begging for people. I need like so many people just for a very specific time period.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get a lot of fucking shit munchers. So I have to beg and I have to be more kind of flexible when it comes to that. But whereas if it's August, middle of summer, quiet, I can be very, very picky and I can tell a lot of people to fuck off.
Yeah, it's also like, let's say you had one staff member in the whole warehouse. You were on the come up. You were building. You can't tell that one staff member, you know what? I'm not happy with what you're doing. You're fired. If someone's irreplaceable, it's hard to fire them. So everything depends on the situation. All this advice I'm giving you guys and Craig's giving you, it's nuance, right? You have to know how to apply it. You have to know which situation to apply it, right? Like I don't go tell people in door to door, like, yeah, fuck off. If you don't right now, I'm blocking you, like I do on Telegram, right? And I can't be asked to deal with someone because I can't block them. I just have to leave the door. So that's me blocking them. Like I said, buy or die. That's one of my main sales philosophies and principles. It's like you just have to get a yes, or you have to be so sure in your heart that it's a no. I promise you, the worst thing in the world, this is actually the worst thing in the world, is thinking to yourself, if I spoke a bit more confidently, if I had a bit more energy, a bit more, would they have, that is a bad one. It does actually fuck with your mind. Because I had so many times like that where I was sat there, bro, and I was thinking to myself, if I just pushed a bit harder, would I have made that sale? I think it's better if you turn your chair more. Do you not think?
I don't like the heights.
No way.
That's the reason why, bro. I'm like consciously, like I turned it a bit more and I'm like, oh,
no way.
I really don't like the heights.
Guys,
I look like
though.
such a pussy.
Bro, it's for the podcast.
Bro,
it's fucking
bro. I don't like it, bro.
Bro, you're not gonna fucking die.
No, I don't like it. I don't like it.
Guys, no one listen to Craig's YouTube channel or anything.
Bro, I don't like heights. I don't like heights. I'm sat here. It's fucking 60 floors up, bro. Bro, stop talking about it.
You wouldn't die.
Man said you wouldn't die dropping from. Bro, don't talk. Don't.
Guys,
bro.
if I land on this watch, I'm all right. Trust me on that.
That's why I'm like sat like further away from it.
I would have never guessed that. I know you're scared of heights, but I completely forgot.
I was gonna mention it after, but I don't like heights. I really don't like heights.
Yeah, but I feel like it's making the podcast weird. Because you have to look a bit more at me. It's kind of weird if you're looking there and I'm looking at you. It's weird. Just change a bit, look at more at me.
I can't.
No, you can't.
No. I'm trying. But I'm looking at you and then it's like there's stuff behind you. I don't like it.
But so this ain't gonna fall,
bro,
mate.
Yeah, I don't like it. That's the reason why. That's real. That's authentic. I'm fucking like heights.
We're gonna cut that out.
No, we're not gonna cut that out. We're not gonna cut that. I'm not gonna cut that.
Right.
Next question. Moving on.
What was I just saying though? I feel like it's important. Oh, but okay. So I'm not telling.
Buy or die and stuff.
All right, next question. Yeah, buy or die.
I mean, I think a lot of these things, like, I can relate it somewhat back to e-commerce. Like, a lot of these things, obviously, you're talking about kind of fundamental principles when it comes to this. And I talk about the same stuff when it comes to e-commerce. But a lot of these things, like, experience is, like, the most valuable thing ever. Like, you just, like, knocking on more doors and you just having more reps and more experience is, like, builds so much more context around the kind of fundamental principles and things like this. Like, that helps you so much and in every single situation.
I think as well, man, conviction and overall confidence trumps so many things in life. Like, how many times you see in life someone says, yeah, like, even girls, when they're describing people, they're like, oh, yeah, he's funny, though, you know? Like, in general, like, people are attracted to confident people who are funny, who have good energy about them. Like, that is the ultimate common denominator amongst all people who sell well, who are well-liked in society. You have to be high energy. You have to be a likable person. If you're just sat there depressing as fuck and no one likes you, no one's going to want to buy from you. No one's going to want to trust you. No one's going to want to talk to you. Because even in my old job, I have hiccups, by the way, guys. In my old job, right? The Debenhams job I was telling you about, my gap year. Although people thought I was a dickhead, everyone kind of liked talking to me because although I was a dickhead, I'd always have good energy. I'd always have some funny story to say. I'd always just chat shit to them about something. So people liked me being around. And the days I wasn't around, even the manager that I was telling you about earlier, she was saying, oh, Hassan, like, you weren't here yesterday. I kind of missed you a bit. Because although
Bro, like being likable is such a hack in life. Like that, I remember one of my like proper like 9 to 5 that I was at for like almost a year. There was one guy who was kind of lazy, not really that good, like would always turn up late, but he was likable and he was like actually fun, and he was a nice human. He was not a very good employee, but he was a nice human, and he literally lasted years at that company. Like I would have sacked him. Like now that I'm a boss and I'm in charge of employees, I would have sacked him. But he built the culture, and he was obviously very fun and likable and charismatic, and that's why he was able to just kind of swindle his way to having the job for way longer than he realistically should have had the job for.
Yeah.
So like it's such a hack to be likable, and it's something that obviously a lot of people do have, and something you need to train yourself in, right? Like you can always become more likable and just speak to more people and just have empathy and just learn people's different what people like, I suppose.
I think what it is people hear these things like, oh, you have to be more likable, and then what they do is they go talk to the people they're trying to sell to and say, oh, how was the weather where you were? What's your dog's name? I don't give a fuck about your dog. Those of you listening to this right now, I genuinely don't give a fuck about your dog. I don't wish your dog any harm. I like dogs, but I'm saying I don't care about your dog. I don't care about your favorite color. I don't care about the weather where you are in Canada right now, in America, in England. I don't give a fuck. I'm in Dubai. The weather's always good. So I don't care. I'm not sat there saying, what's the weather like, bro? Right? And in all my businesses and all my business partners, like even with you, we were saying this earlier in the taxi today. I'm not sat there saying like, yeah, Craig, like, how are the 2 staff members you have right now in your warehouse, which let's say that business is not to do with me. I'm not sat there thinking, how is this guy doing today? Like, how is his relationship with his family? Is his energy levels good? Is he working? I don't care. That's your responsibility. If I had to worry about every single small detail in your life, this person's life, that person's life, I won't have any time to focus on my life. And it just comes across as fake. Everyone knows you don't care. It's so much better to build rapport in other ways, because people always talk about, oh, you have to build rapport with the prospect. Again, it depends on what you're selling. The way I would build rapport door to door is different than how I build rapport with people in New Money. It's different than how I build rapport in any fucking business. Your e-com stores right now, or our e-com stores, the ones we have together, right? I'm not building any rapport. I've just paid a bunch of money to you, and then it's making money. So it depends on what business you have, I think.
Yeah, completely and utterly. And how you want to build that and how you do that and stuff like that. Like, a lot of positions I try and not be likable. Like with some of my employees, I'll explicitly like try and be very cold and harsh, even though that's not really who I am, because I know that's going to be more beneficial in the situation. And then there's some like employees that will very explicitly work harder if they have more of an emotional connection to you, and I try and build that emotional connection. Obviously, it's a bit kind of shallow to do that, but it just works. It kind of works the best, really.
Actually, even today, in terms of how you can build rapport with some people who work for you, right? It's all about choosing the right moment to give people gifts and to reward people. Actually, just today, I'm not going to mention their name, but just today I was on Instagram and I saw one of the people who work with me / work for me, whatever you want to call it. He was on like a date with a girl. Like he posted a picture. So I sent him a message like, oh, are you on a date, bro? He's like, yeah, just finished the date. I was like, so before even I saw the message, he said, yeah, I finished because I knew he was on a date. I just sent him in like an extra bit of money. It's just like a nice touch. My logic was he can buy a couple extra drinks with that. Obviously, he can afford it anyway. I'm just saying it's like a nice little touch. You see what I'm saying? It's like those things make people remember you. Those things make people want to be more loyal to you. Right? And it's like, that goes into another point about how to spend money. How to spend money. Investing in the people around you is the best investment you can make, because you're literally investing. You're not even spending the money on that person. You're just investing it into better energy around you, more loyalty, more camaraderie, whatever the fucking word is. It doesn't matter. I'm saying it's just a good use of money. And I kind of lost track of my point, but what was your point? I've actually completely lost point.
You kind of got off topic a little bit, talking about building loyalty and talking about being charismatic and building friendships, and how like gift giving can be very, very valuable in those situations. Like I've done that a lot in the past, like just giving simple gifts, or even just asking people like how they are, or like remembering specific things about their life. And there's so many ways that, not manipulate, but like so many ways that you can just create a stronger connection with certain people just through the very, very small kind of details, right? Like very small details make a big difference.
I remember as well with the Debenhams manager I was talking about earlier. I bought her a gift once. I bought her a box of chocolates on the day after she was the most angry with me. So she would have never expected that. I was like, oh, here you go, like, I just wanted to buy you this box of chocolates because, you inspire me, you teach me a lot, all this stuff, just chatting nonsense. Right? She was so confused and she felt so guilty. I felt like that changed the dynamic of the whole relationship. Because she sat there thinking, I was mean to Hassan. I wanted to be a prick to him. And now he actually likes me and he's saying, you've been so nice to me. Now she feels bad for being mean to me. So ever since that moment, she was way nicer to me. She felt bad talking mean about me. She felt bad bitching about me to other members of staff. She let me go on the phone a bit more. When she caught me on the phone, she's like, Hassan, like, come on. Before, she's like, you know, so it's like you can just disarm people. Again, that's sales. Sales is almost just like chess. It depends because let's say you play a 3-minute chess game. How long do you have? You have that time, right? 3 minutes each side. If you play a half-an-hour chess game, then it's half an hour each side, right? It's the same thing in life. Door-to-door is a very, very quick chess game. Actually, that's a very good analogy. Door-to-door is a very quick chess game. I haven't got long to impress you. First impressions matter. On social media, I have as long as I need, as long as it takes you, right? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Same thing with your manager at work. If you're going to be working there for a while, you have a bunch of time to make sure they're very happy with you. So there's certain things you can do to change the dynamics of the relationship. People don't realize how much you can change a relationship based on one phone call, one text message, Actually, I heard someone say this before. I don't know where I got that from. I heard someone say that before. If you can change the whole, I'm telling you, you can change the whole dynamic of a relationship just by doing certain things. If you buy someone a gift, it just completely disarms them. They're like, wow, this person actually, he does like me. So I remember even with my sales team, I bought loads of them gifts before. Like loads. At the start, I don't do it anymore because I'm not even in England. But when I was in England, I used to always buy them gifts.
But with girls and stuff, you can say like one sentence and they'll like remember that for the rest of their fucking entire life. And like that will be like the basis of the remaining interactions you have with them. And that will just change the whole trajectory. Like just through like a couple careful sentences and stuff like that, it will change the whole kind of frame of your relationship. And I suppose it's that is literally sales. Like it's the exact same way. And the analogy of a chess game on a door-to-door is like a very short chess game is a very, very good way. Whereas like it's very different to this kind of style, and the way that New Money's like performed is like completely and utterly different, right?
It depends, man, because with this, I don't know how long this video is going to be. As I speak more, I'm going to have more and more ideas come to me, but it depends because they're selling when it comes to social media, they're selling when it comes to in-person sales, they're selling on the phone, there's lots of different types of sales. But again, let's say right now I'm trying to sell Dubai residencies and all this stuff, help people. Right now it's kind of referrals through networks and stuff. But in the future, maybe I'll start promoting on Twitter, on Instagram. Maybe I'll have a separate person run an Instagram account for me. HassanRelocation.com. I don't know, some bullshit, right? And then in that case, again, it's a longer chess game. So that's something you guys need to consider. Are you guys playing right now a short chess game or a long chess game? Who are you selling to? And again, it's not just what are you selling, because right now a lot of you are working a 9-to-5 job. Okay, so how do you sell your way into a better position in your 9-to-5 job? Okay, if you get on the better side of the manager or the boss, maybe you can start turning into work later. Maybe you can start going on your phone more. Then, because you're on your phone more, now you can listen to more of my voice notes. Maybe you can read more of my tweets, right? You're going to become even smarter, bruv. You can do a whole bunch of different things. So everything's just about 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch. And before you know it, like you've made a bunch of fucking progress. So many of you guys are just sat there trying to make, you're trying to hit one home run instead of just making one move at a time. Like life is like chess and sales is chess, basically, right? That's kind of how I see it. But overall, this is the way I look at sales. If sales is a chess game, right, and you have different objections, the objections are like the opponent making a move. Again, it's like fighting, but then you can say fighting's like chess, so it's all related. If sales is like chess is like fighting. That means fighting's like sales. It's all related. So let's say in fighting, if your opponent throws a punch, that's like someone in sales giving you an objection. Sometimes your opponent throws 1-2, right? That's 2 objections. You have to handle them both, right? It's the same thing as chess. Your opponent makes a move. You have to make a move back, and you have to adapt your move depending on their mood. The thing with door-to-door sales that's very, very good, it makes you very, very good at reading, human body language, human whatever you want to call it, is that you're literally looking at their face as you're talking, and you can see like every second like the micro changes that's going on in their face. You can see if they're more interested in what you have to say, if they're listening to you, all these different kinds of things, right? So it's very, very important. That's why I really recommend all of you guys get a door-to-door sales job or sell something on a camera, because even you told me in the past you've got experience selling things on the, what was it?
So I ran like a marketing agency, and we had literally the perfect product, knew exactly what we were doing on the actual fulfillment side of things, but had no clue on how to sell it, and didn't sell it. Like we got like one fucking client, and he was like a complete retard. So like even if we just like, that was mainly purely because we had no confidence on the phone. Like we just had no confidence. Like we had so much confidence in the actual product, but we didn't have any idea how to communicate that to the actual fucking potential buyer and potential the lead, right?
everything's just about being conveyed, and everything's just about conveying to the person listening that you know what you're talking about, really, right? If you're, I always use this example, but let's say you're trying to convey that you are the right personal trainer for them. You're going to help them get in shape, right? You need to convey to them over the phone, over social media, over whatever, over WhatsApp message, over whatever the fuck, however you communicate to that person, that you know what you're talking about. You should know, if you're a personal trainer, right, what the classic objections you're going to get are. It's always the same objections. What are the classic objections that you get if you're trying to sell personal training? I have a lot of fucking hiccups on these drinks. But yeah, what are the classic objections you're going to get? The classic objections you're going to get are they don't believe that they're actually going to make the gains. We spoke about this earlier. That you don't know what you're talking about, that you're not going to give them enough one-on-one time, you're not going to give them enough attention. Maybe as soon as they've paid you the money, now you're not going to respond to their messages. There's no accountability. They're not going to be able to stick to their diet. They might injure themselves, then what do? They might not get their money's worth. They don't know if they're going to get the results within a certain time frame. I reckon I could name 100 objections if I sat there and had 5 minutes to actually write all of these down, right? 100 objections. And I'm not a personal trainer, I've just made this up on the spot. The point I'm trying to make is, if you're a personal trainer right now and you're watching this video, you should be sat there thinking, okay, what are the most common objections I get? Write them all down. Prepare answers for all these objections. Prepare how to combine answers to this point, and this point. Combine all three together. Just like how if you're a fighter, you're going to combine a 1-2 and then maybe a left hook as well. You want to combine how you handle this objection, and this objection. You want to handle all these three objections in one go. It's going to make you look so much smoother. Just like in chess. Chess players learn their openings, right? They learn their openings, you move this piece, then this piece, then this piece, boom, 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 boom. It's the same thing with everything, man. You have to know what to say based on certain objections. But it's always the same objections. That's why I don't understand how you can be really bad at sales. Because you should be sat there listening to people who've bought and people who have not bought. When someone's joined you money, I've asked them, like, why have you actually joined you money? You said, okay, I want help with a Dubai company. All right, so I mentioned that. Oh, I joined because I want a bunch of people in my city. Okay, guys, you can find people in your city, because you can, right? Oh, I joined because it's just more fun hustling when you're with your boys. Okay. I joined because I'm stuck in ecom. Okay. Not you, I'm just saying, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, I joined because Hassan, I'm trying to learn more sales. Okay, no problem, bro. We have a bunch of sales stuff inside of the
Yeah,
group.
you mention it, and then you mention it a couple times, and you drill down on the kind of pain points that they're the reason why they're buying, right? Like, you're listening to what they want, and you're just mentioning it over and over again that you've got that, and you can provide that solution.
Yeah, so if someone sat there right now at home and they're like, the reason why I'm not joining New Money is because I'm unsure if people are from England. And then I post a testimonial inside the group saying, look, we have these people from England. We have so many people from England, right? Then that's that objection ticked off your head, right? It's gone off your head. You're like, okay, there's people in England. Now, you might have another objection. Just because you have one objection doesn't mean you don't have other objections. There could be one objection above all the other objections. But there's always at least one that's stopping for people from buying. If someone didn't buy from you, you have to know there's always an objection. Now, sometimes the objections could be something as simple as price. So let's say I was a personal trainer right now. My coaching is $5,000 for 3 months, right? 10 grand for 3 months. Some people might not have 10 grand. They might really trust me. They might really want the product. They might really want everything. But they physically don't have the 10 grand. Then what do you do? You know, you can take a deposit from them. Put them on a payment plan. Say to them, look, it's 10K for 3 months, but how about we start with 1 month for 4K? Boom. Right?
Yeah. There's
a bunch of different things you can do, but it's just like, at the end of the day, what you need to think about is, if you're actually selling something good, you're doing a disservice by not selling it. Right? You're actually doing yourself a disservice because you're not getting paid money, and you're doing them a disservice. If you think you can actually help them, you're doing yourself a disservice. The reason why I've actually started making more podcasts and more videos, right? Is because how many fucking messages have I got from New Money people like, hey bro, sales, you know, make a video on sales, make a podcast on this, answer these questions please. So many of you guys ask me, Hassan, what's it like moving to Dubai? So I'll answer some of the points now about Dubai, because so many people ask me this. I think you should move to Dubai. I recommend you move to Dubai when you have like 8K a month. When you make 8K a month profit, I think you should start coming here. You can live pretty fucking good. 8K.
If it's 8K and it has the ability to go up, yeah. But if you're like 8K fixed forever, because you're going to be spending a lot of that 8K.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. But yeah, but most of you listening to this right now, you are going to go up.
Yeah, of course.
That's the point. So, yeah. It's just...
We can answer more Dubai questions. Or do you want to do that separately?
We can do. Maybe we can do that separately. But it's just like, boys, a lot of you overthink everything. You're sat there overthinking this objection, that objection. It's like, knock on someone's door, pick up the phone, post something on social media. Either it's going to be a good reaction or it'll be a bad reaction. Like, I know what works better in door-to-door because I've sold a bunch of boilers door-to-door and my guys sold a bunch of boilers door-to-door. But if I was just sat there like, I wonder how to sell door to door. I wonder if it's the same as this business, that business. I would never know. You just have to do things. You know?
Yeah. So, one question that I think is super, super important, like incredibly, incredibly important, is like, what kind of energy do you come onto the call with, and how do you like trick yourself into like bringing that energy? Like maybe you're not feeling it, maybe you're like super down, like you have other issues going on at the same time. Like how do you bring that energy and bring that like vibe to the call to be able to close those people with a much higher percentage?
Yeah, so even right now, I think right now I'm not very energetic at all. I'm more quiet than usual. I'm not sure if you noticed that.
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, a little bit. But I reckon a lot of you guys right now at home probably won't even notice it. They'll be thinking, oh, Hassan's just chill. But I'm actually pretty tired right now because I've not slept in a while, right? So I've not slept really properly. So I'm a bit tired right now and I'm doing this podcast. Maybe my energy is slightly lower, right? You might not even notice it. If I didn't mention it, you might not even notice it. So is it even a big deal? Maybe for me, I think it's a big deal, but it's not actually a big deal. No one really notices. No one really cares. It's so weird that you're sat like that.
Bro,
just turn around.
So we just took another little break now and we're getting back into things. One thing I will say is I'm not very good with heights, so that's why I'm a bit uncomfortable. Like I'm looking over here, like I'm not very good with heights, and we're quite high up, so it makes me super uncomfortable. Normally I am a good host, but like I'm just a bit of a fucking pussy, so I'm a bit scared of heights. So next question, you talk a lot about knowing your averages. Yeah. So knowing your averages, what does that mean? Why is that important? And how do you implement that?
Yeah, so I said this on the previous podcast, and I'm going to say it again, right? If you haven't watched my previous podcast, make sure you fucking watch it, you lazy fuckers. But it's super, super important, right? In door to door, I came up with this principle of knowing your averages, right? Everyone knows that you should know your averages, know your numbers. The more numbers, the more data you have in a company, in a business, the more successful you are. If you know every time you knock on 30 doors, you make a sale, it's going to give you... I feel like I'm repeating myself from the last podcast, but just in case you've not watched it, I'll repeat it again, yeah?
Yeah, keep repeating yourself. That's like...
All right, cool. So, I realized that after every door I knocked on, right, that when I got rejected, I would be super low energy. I'd be like, fuck's sake, like... Because you know when you're broke, you ain't got much money in the bank, and you're being rejected, and it's starting to rain, and it's windy, and you just feel like a broke prick. You just get annoyed, just like, it just grind on, it wear me down, it annoyed me. I was thinking, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. But then I told myself, okay, if I knock on 30 doors, and then I get a sale every 30 doors on average, then okay, it's fine if I got rejected 9 times in a row, because I have another 21 doors on average to get a sale. And if you apply that principle, it's very, very difficult to be discouraged, because I would be rejected 30 times in a row, and I'll think, okay, I've been rejected 30 times. But over the next 30 doors, that will be 60 in total. I should have 2 sales, right? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it makes complete
I'll have
sense.
2 sales on average. If I get rejected 45 times in a row, it's fine. Within the next 15 doors, I'll have 2 sales on average. Because there's a reason why it's called my average, is because I tracked it, let's say over 1,000 doors, and I realized I got 33 sales. So it is my average. So it's fine. Now I know I'm not trying to get 1 sale per 30 doors. What I'm actually trying to do is just maintain my average of 30 sales per 1,000 doors. You see what I'm saying? And when you think like that, it's much, much easier to
stay motivated.
Because the thing is, there's no such thing as you get X number of sales per day. There's no such thing as every door is the exact same, in the sense that, certain days you're going to knock on 20 doors, and then you're going to be so discouraged, it's going to start raining, and it's going to start snowing, and then you're going to go home. There's certain times you post things on social media, it gets less engagement than other days. There are certain things that happen which gives you more engagement on social media. There's certain things that happen which means you're quite busy for the day, so you can't post as much, or you can't take as many phone calls. Let's say you have a personal training business and you can't take as many phone calls that day, and you make 1 sale compared to you sign 3 clients. It doesn't mean that now all of a sudden your business has failed. You just got 2 clients less because you haven't been on your phone responding to the DMs, or you haven't been hopping on a call with people who are trying to pay you for the personal training, right? So it's very important to remember the averages, because there's no such thing as everything staying like this. It's always up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. So if you know your averages, you know your line of best fit, then all the up, down, and up, downs don't matter, because you know roughly your hit.
Exactly. So if you have a rough week, even a rough 2 weeks, something like that, like as long as you've been doing it for a long enough period of time to know your average, you've been doing it like sending an e-commerce to a certain degree, right? Like if you've been doing it 3 months and you've got an average of that 3 months, and you have a bad 3 days, like, unless something drastically has changed, unless you've drastically changed your fucking, like, unless you're in a completely different area, or unless you're tweeting completely different things, like, your average should be the same, and it's going to come back up, and you're actually going to be fine, and you shouldn't be too fucking concerned about it. And you're going to stay motivated on the overall goal, as long as you're pushing for the same thing and pushing for the overall goal.
100%. But at the same time, on the flip side, one of my best pieces of sales advice I can give you guys is know your daily numbers. Like, if every day you know when you sell boilers, you sell 3, or you sell 4. If you start getting 1, don't just say, oh, it's my averages. Like, you see what I'm saying? I'm kind of being a hypocrite. Know your averages, but at the same time, if 4 is your daily average, make sure you get 4 every day. Don't just be sat there thinking, oh, it's okay, I got 3 today because of this and this reason.
You got 5 yesterday, so it's 3 is okay today. You need to be pushing, The
reason why I'm mentioning this is because you were kind of mentioning how if you have a couple slow weeks, I get your point, but on the flip side, you can't allow it to be like, all right, it's 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, now it's a month. Now, you can't say that your average is 1 sale per 30 doors if it's now all of a sudden it's 1 per 60. At the end of the day, you're only as good as your last day. That's why I like setting myself daily targets. Like, I have daily targets with all my businesses, with my habits, not really the number. It's more so the habits. Like, okay, talk to these 2 people once a day, talk to this person once every 2 days, you know? Because if I do that, everything else is going to be taken care of. But if I say, oh, I want this business to make me this much money, this business to make me that much money, right? It's not going to work. And also, I only believe in the habits anyway, because talking to these 2-3 people is going to lead me to those new connections I want anyway. It's going to lead me to everything I want anyway. So all you can control is the habits, because I see so many people say, oh, this is actually a super big point. I see so many people talk about, yeah, man, it's been a bad couple of days because, you know, I was out the house. I'm like, okay. They have another bad day. Oh, I was out the house. It's like, bro, there's nothing wrong with going out the house, but my G, you go out the house 7 fucking days a week, so you can't say it's an excuse as to why I had a bad day, because when you have a good day, you're not saying, oh, I was out the house. So you gotta be honest with yourself. Like, was it a particularly different day? Was it a particularly unique day? Right? Or are you just fucking lazy? So even with new money, right? When I get sent DMs, I reply to all of them very quickly. Right now I'm doing this podcast, I'm not going to be replying to DMs very quickly, right? But if I know that, let's say when I get off this podcast, I see like 20 DMs that I haven't replied to. I'm not going to be sat there like, slow today on my DMs. Like, well, I wonder why. Like, I know the reason. So I can trace the fact that I've not replied to the DMs down to the fact that I was physically doing something which required my full attention, right? And then it's like, when you have that kind of approach to life, you never have slow days. That's why my mindset is new day equals new money. And every day I start in 0 mentally. Every day I wake up, I've done nothing for the day. No phone calls, no messages with anyone, no voice notes on the Telegram channel, no speaking to people in new money, no posting in new money, no posting on Twitter, no replying to girls on Instagram, no nothing. Absolutely nothing. I've done nothing for the day, right? So we got to start it back up again, right? We got to do more. We got to do more. That's kind of how I see it, man.
Yeah, that makes sense. That kind of ties into the next point of momentum, right? So like, momentum's very important in business. How do you keep that momentum? Obviously, like, without burning out, things like this. I think you have interesting opinions on burnout, but like, how do you keep that momentum going, and how do you not fall off?
Yeah, I don't really have.
Like, do you have burnout?
No. I can't relate to those people who talk about burnout. It's like, I feel like you either want to win or you don't. I believe that you need rest. I believe you need times where you're just a bit mentally, you're not as fully like on it. But I believe like it's not something I plan too much. I'm not sat there like, oh, it's 7 o'clock now, time to watch television. I don't sit there think, oh, it's Saturday now, these are my 2 days of the week where I'm going to have a bit of fun, allocated rest time. No, it's very much like, if I feel like I need to take a second off, a minute off, an hour off, whatever, a day off, that's never ever taken a day off. Like, that's just stupid as fuck. But if I feel like I need to take an hour off, take a few days off, few hours off, then I'll be like, okay, let's take a few hours off. I'm not sat there like, okay, I've been working the last 4 days, let me take the 5th day off. I've been working the last 6 days, let me take the 7th day off. That just never happens, right? It's very much a case of, I just kind of, I feel like you either want to win or you don't, right? Yeah. I see so many people respond to me, they message me from the Telegram channel saying, Hassan, how much time do you have to rest? How much time do you sleep? How much time do you do this? How much time do you do that? And I think the questions that are stupid. It's like, if you want to win, you watching this right now, you want to win. Why are you asking me how hard to work? Work as hard as you can work, because if you can work all the time, you're going to beat the people who don't. Let's say right now you have an e-com store, you want to make it popular. You were working harder than all the other people who had e-com stores who started and then they gave up. It's like, if you just put in more hours, you're going to beat people. That's not even sales advice. That's just basic mental advice.
Life advice, yeah.
But that's why I like sales so much, because you only get paid on your commissions, right? So every day it teaches you that mindset of new day equals new money. You can't just be like, oh, yesterday I made 5 sales. No. There's no such thing as yesterday we made 5 sales, right? It's like today we made 0. So now we have to fix this problem. And if we don't fix this problem, yeah, we can talk about the law of averages, but the law of averages really, that's only to make me feel mentally better about the rejection. In reality, if I don't hit my daily target, let's say I want 3 sales, 5 sales, whatever the number is, I'm panicking. I'm like, what the fuck has changed? Do I need to buy new shoes for the fucking door-to-door? Do I need to change my name tag? Do I need new business cards? Do I need a new folder? Because at the door, maybe this navy folder I had was unprofessional, so I bought a brown one, like a more professional one. Before I used to have a clipboard folder. Then I got like a proper one you zip up and it was more...
Yeah.
So it's like I was making all these adjustments, right? I was changing everything I did, right? At one point, I had like a separate phone for when I called the manager. So I'd have like the pictures on the phone, like showing them, and I had like a separate work phone. I was like, yeah, I used to make a joke with them. I was like, this phone is just for speed dialing, So this phone is for speed dialing the manager. Obviously, the manager would pick up 9 times out of 10 pretty quickly, right? It would impress them. Like, oh, ha. Like, yeah, I take this job very, very seriously. I have to have a separate phone just for these boilers.
Yeah,
and they're like, really? I'm like, of course. Of course. So, yeah.
Going back to the kind of main point, like momentum, right? So, in your own experience, like, are you always pushing for more and more and more and more? Or is it more like door to door? There's only a certain amount of doors you can physically knock on in a day. So is it more about optimization, or like how do you deal with that kind of momentum sort of thing? Like, is it always just like trying to increase forever? Or is it get to a good point, maybe slowly increase, fix up different things, find maybe a new offer? Like, how do you deal with the actual momentum side of things?
Well, yeah, so things like door to door is massively capped, because you're right. Your time is linked to money and you only have so many doors to knock on. And if you're only getting paid X per door sale, well, then it's like, how much money maximum you can make in a day. Even if everybody said yes, which is literally impossible. But even if everybody said yes, like, how much are you really going to make in a day?
You're capped at some point, yeah.
That's actually crazy. Even if every door I knocked on in the past said yes, I still would make way less money than I'm making now. So it's kind of crazy to think about. But yeah, it's not scalable. That's not that scalable. You see what I'm saying? But if you have multiple people, then it's more scalable, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I mean, so your question, the thing is, I don't really like that question, because it kind of leads back to that point about a lot of you guys just sat there thinking so much. I don't believe so much like, I'm going to do this now and I'm going to do this. Just start selling something on the phone or door to door. Get as good as possible, knock on as many doors as possible, make as many phone calls as possible. Once you've done that and you feel like you've burned out that, then you can kind of worry about like, okay, this ain't scalable. How do I make more money from this? Okay, maybe I can bring my friend in here. He pays me a percentage from his sales. The manager gives me a percentage on the sales he makes because I'm bringing him into the company. Things like that. Then you can be like, okay, this ain't really working. I need to have a better offer. This isn't making me enough money per unit of sale.
Yeah, like to get to the position you want to be in. Yeah.
Right, so then it's like, okay, I need to have a higher ticket offer. All right, maybe I can sell my own offer. All right, I'm in good shape. Maybe I can be a personal trainer, right? I keep using that analogy because it's so simple, right? You see all these people on TikTok. I see so many TikTokers, they're in good shape, right? And then do you know what they do? They start selling merch and protein and supplements. That's sick. Imagine these same people, they might have just been good in the gym. They were working as a normal gym assistant, right? The people who lift up the weights, rack them back up, cleaning the gym. Now they're selling merchandise on Twitter. They're selling supplements. They're selling one-on-one personal training, like 5K per person. It's like, it's completely different. So you want to have higher ticket items for sure. The selling, man, is all just about fucking conviction. It goes back to that point. I want to mention it again. It's just so much about how you speak. It's so much about conviction. Like, so many of you guys are sat there and you're doubting yourself, like, I don't know if I can sell this, I don't know if I can sell that. The best way to know if you can sell something is just to become more experienced at selling and just start selling more and more. Then you're going to know how to sell different things. Because I don't know what you guys are selling. Maybe you can give me some examples of things you're selling. I don't know. But maybe some people would be selling, like, what would...
I think a lot of guys are doing, like, solar. Like, that's a big offer, isn't it? Yeah, very similar to boilers.
That's similar to boilers. I mean, look.
So it's got, like, an offer and government stuff and...
At the end of the day as well, like, how you look is also important, right? So if you are really fat, it's harder to sell things door to door than if you're not fat, right? It's just the reality.
Yeah, like, if you're taller, if you're shorter, younger, older... Like, I've had, like, door-to-door people knocking at the warehouse and stuff like this, and it was, like, literally, like, an 18-year-old, and, like, I could tell he had a manager watching him, so I was, like, joking around with him, like, bro, just, like, sell me your shit, man, stop asking these bullshit questions, like, hurry up, bro, like, come on. Like, yeah, like, it's the way the frame works, and just, like, the way you hold yourself and stuff like this. Yeah. A question that's super, super practical, and I think is actually very, very useful to a lot of people watching. Literally every single person watching this is very useful. Like, how can you influence and how can you become friends and like more socially competent with people that are on a higher level than you, right? Like, I joined New Money, obviously, and then wanted to become friends with you. Like, how did I go about that in the right way? How do you think I could have improved? Or like, how, like, does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I think that's a super valuable question. Like, that's such an easy way to just level up your life. Not in a very shallow way, but like, how would you like become friends, influence someone else, become business partner with someone else that's on a higher level than you?
Yeah, it's just a case of understanding your position. I feel like the most annoying people in society are people who don't know their position. If you're talking to someone and you think they're better than you, when I say better, you should know what I mean, right? I don't mean like they're physically better. I don't mean like they're an actual better human. They deserve more human rights than you, right? I'm saying like objectively right now, maybe their status or their position in society, their hierarchy, maybe their position is higher. I think it's just knowing, if you know they're doing better than you, and they know that you know, and they know that they're doing better than you, then I feel like you should almost respect that gap. Otherwise, I feel like they just get annoyed. Like, whenever I've met someone doing very well, it's kind of always, I've always just known to be quiet. Because it's very hard for someone to unlike you. It's very hard for someone to just not like you if you're quiet. They're not going to be like, oh, that Craig person, he was a prick. He didn't speak that much.
He's too quiet. Yeah.
Yeah, like, especially because you're not too quiet. You say the right amount, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not like you're just sat there, like, literally not saying a word. Maybe they'll be like, okay, that's a bit awkward. But then no one's going to say, oh, yeah, he let me speak more than he spoke. I hate him. They're going to be like, that Craig guy was super cool.
People often like to talk about themselves. Like, if you get someone, like, engaged in the topics they like to talk about, and you're asking intelligent questions around a topic they like to talk about, people are often going to kind of like you. Like, this is an easy way to make friends with someone.
100%. So I think most people, what they do is they talk too much when they meet people above them because they try and impress them. They try and sell themselves too much. And again, sales is everything, right? What you're trying to do is you're trying to sell yourself too much in situations where you don't need to be sold to. Because a lot of times, these people that are doing better than you, they don't want someone to give them too much knowledge or gain. They just want someone almost as someone around. Like, I don't know if I want to give it these examples on this podcast. Yeah, I don't need to. But there's a few examples, like people you know about, we both know. It's like the dynamic is there's one person and then there's the person underneath. The person above just kind of uses that person to like help them like get things from the shop, do this, do that. So that's not a bad thing. It's just that's their role in the relationship, right? There might be a big age gap as well. And so it's like having a soldier, right? It's like you're the boss and that's like almost like it's like your assistant, personal assistant. And I think that's almost like, I think this is the biggest mistake people make when they're trying to climb up in life. Everything's about your network, right? That's why I promote New Money so hard. Everything's about your network. Everything's about the people you talk with. You know, everything's about the people you talk to, but it's like, at the end of the day, there's problems with every relationship, right? So if someone's your equal completely, the problem is that there might be an ego clash, right? Now, if someone's really below you, the problem is they might just piss you off. Because if someone's really, really below you, you could argue that they should just be, to compensate the fact that they can't teach you much and stuff, they should just listen to what you say so they can help you basically with things that you need help with. And if someone's above you, right, you can learn loads of things from them, they can teach you things, they can help you make more money. So it's like every relationship has certain benefits, certain pros, certain cons, right? And when someone talks too much and doesn't understand their position, it's like, it's almost like, it's just offensive and annoying. It's almost like that person must be dumb, because if you're socially dumb, then you are just dumb. That's kind of the best way to explain it without, yeah, that's kind of what I want to say on that. I think you should always know your place in the room. And a lot of people don't realize this. Yeah. A lot of people talk when they're not supposed to talk.
So many people, yeah. In regards to like business relationships, kind of the same topic. In regards to business relationships, do you think the kind of charisma is like very, very, very important? Like, do you think it's very important to become like likable and friends almost with your like business partnerships, or do you think it's more beneficial to keep it very professional?
I don't think too much about that. you know, because people say like don't work with your friends and family. Some people say work with your friends and family. I think it very much depends on the person. I don't think that's too important. I think that people just, they want, you guys at home right now listening to this, you're trying to find specific answers. You're sat there thinking, you know, I want to know the answer to this question. I want to know the answer to this question. But in general, it's like, it's the overall philosophy and mindset that I've always been interested in. Because everyone has their own differences, right? Look at all successful people. This person made his money playing golf. This person made his money building hotels. This person made his money selling microphones. This person made his money selling chairs. There's people just selling luxury watches. That's something I've got into, by the way. It's reselling luxury watches. But it's like, there's people selling so many different things, right? There's people making money in loads of different things. But the common denominator in all these things is, you know, they have good relationships. They know when to talk. They have different people for different things. They're hardworking. They're smart. They're disciplined. They're good at selling themselves, right? These are the common denominators in all successful people. It's not like, oh, everyone plays golf. Everyone is a weightlifter. This person plays chess. This person, like, those things are different. But their overall personality traits are usually quite similar. They're go-getters. They don't wait around. They're not thinking too much. They're not asking... No, asking questions is good, but I'm saying they're not thinking too much. So when they ask a question, then they act on the advice. Sometimes you guys, I get the impression, because I used to do the same, is you ask a question just because it's almost like you feel like you're making progress. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it's like...
People do that all the time.
They get the answer and like, nah, I'm not happy with the answer. I want to ask another question. It's like, gee, I've given you the answer.
That's the fucking answer, yeah.
Just start there. Like, Craig, how do I build an Etsy store? It's like, start with the first thing I'm telling you, you know? Then you can get onto more complicated stuff. Because people do this all the time. It's like, Hassan, I got a door-to-door sales job, now what? It's like, have you knocked on any doors? Oh, no. We'll start there.
Yeah. Do the small achievable goals and then aim for the larger, bigger things, yeah.
You guys massively underestimate how much you'd get done, right? Just making one move in the right direction every day. If you join New Money, yeah, then you talk to the guys in New Money. I posted it today in the Telegram channel. Hamish and Daniel, they moved in together. They met each other 3 weeks ago in Warsaw. Since we last been to Warsaw, you just posted your vlog yesterday for Warsaw yesterday, right?
Yeah.
In that time, it took your editor to edit the video. I know you weren't like properly on it, but they moved in together.
They moved in, literally.
Like, it just shows you how much can be done.
Yeah. They didn't think about it, they didn't overthink about it, like they just knew they were on a similar path and just took fucking action and went for it.
And they're both guys from New Money, right? They're not sat there thinking, oh no, you know, what about if this guy, I don't trust him this much, and what about if he stabs me in the back in this business deal? It's like, fuck that. I met him in Warsaw, he's pretty cool, we're both young, we both want to make money, we both want to date girls, that's good enough for me, right? Then, once you're living with them, okay, maybe one of them, he doesn't clean up his plates after he's eating food. Okay, do you know what you do? Listen, bro, like, please can you just clean the plates up? Because it's really bothering me just having dirty plates everywhere. Nah, bro, I really don't want to clean the plates. Let's just get a maid. Yeah, fuck it, you're right, bro, let's get a maid. Problem solved. You know? Or he can say, look, bro, that's like my one thing I hate doing, cleaning all my plates up. I know, he's not even gonna fucking say that. He'll be like, alright, bro, I'll clean the plates up. But worst case scenario, bro, I don't want to clean the plates. Alright, I'll clean up for you, but then you be in charge of washing our clothes.
Yeah, that's some dumb shit.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, so much of life is just talking to people and just understanding that there's nothing to overthink. That's what's so good about sales, because when you really think about it, you're knocking on someone's random door. They don't know you. And then it's like 10 minutes later, they've signed the paperwork and now they're going to get a boiler with your company.
Or 10 minutes later, they've completely and utterly forgotten about you. Because you're like so insignificant in their life. Like
there'll be some of... I'm not sure how many people will be watching this podcast to this point right now, but there'll be so many people, guys, who've watched this podcast for the first 10 minutes and now by this point they've clicked off. You guys are still watching. Cool. But there'll be so many people who've clicked off the podcast. They would have forgotten about this podcast. If they've only watched 1 minute, they'll be like, oh, fuck these guys, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
The majority of the reason why I'm doing this podcast anyway is for the New Money boys, you know? And the people in the Telegram channel who are like, you know, on the edge of joining New Money, they want to, you know, they're unsure. So it's like, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter.
It really doesn't matter. Cool. Is there any other points you want to add, or should we finish it up here?
I feel like there's a few points I've forgotten. I feel like it's better when I'm sitting forward. Without that chair.
I've kind of run out of my prepared questions now. I feel like you answered a lot of stuff. I like the influencing, like the really practical things that we did at the end there, like how to actually, like, basically make friends with people is like something that a lot of people kind of fuck up with,
I think just... I really think people don't know their position. I really believe that's the problem. Like, I'm telling you, there's nothing more offensive and annoying to someone than being in a really successful position. Or not even really successful, but just a more successful position than you, right, let's say. And then you're acting like you're their equal to that person. It's kind of just like, bro, like, shut up, you know? Like, I'm sure you find that all the time. It's like if someone in the warehouse, let's say, questions your, you know, tries to undermine your authority and stuff, it's like, it's just the wrong way to go about things. You know, it's like, that really is one of the biggest problems. I think that really holds people back, because I really believe from the bottom of my heart, if you guys watching this right now at home, yeah, were friends with me, I believe all of you would be pretty rich. I'm not saying you'd be a multi-millionaire instantly, but I'm saying all of you would start making money, right? All of you, if you were friends with me, which means all you're missing in life, instead of thinking, all right, I want to make money, I want to be rich, just think, okay, I just need to be friends with people like Craig, like Hassan, like this person, like that person, right? Then I'm going to be successful. And you should be sat there at home thinking, okay, if I'm a smart dude, right, I'm respectful to other people, I have good friends, I try my best, right, I'm disciplined, I stay consistent with something, I'm going to be successful. Instead of thinking, am I going to sell this jacket, this microphone? Am I going to have a Shopify store, an Etsy store, sell boilers, sell Dubai residencies, you know, be in real estate doing this and that? Or let me just focus on what I actually need to be, what kind of person I need to be. Okay, I need to know when to shut up. I need to know how to handle myself, right? Certain people join New Money, they really impress me with the way they handle themselves. Sometimes I think they're not as experienced as someone else. You know what I mean? Like certain people we met on Warsaw, I was like really impressed. I was like, wow, this person's super smart. But then some other people were just a bit like, they just weren't as impressive.
Yeah.
But I wasn't that impressive a few years ago, so I get it, right? You do learn as you go along. But I'm just saying, like, the people who have good people skills, they always end up being rich, because it's impossible not to be rich if you can sell yourself to other people. Even if you don't think you can sell a product, right? Let's say right now you're thinking, I don't have to sell a product on Shopify, Etsy, right? I don't have to sell a product in real life. I don't have to sell a product over social media. If you can sell your own product yourself to other people, and other people are like, I like this guy, I like Hassan, then
you can sell a product, yeah.
Yeah, then you're gonna sell a product. Because let's say right now I had no business, but Craig liked me, right? Craig would be like, all right, bro, like, I got an opportunity for you. You can be my cameraman. I'll be like, cool. And then what I'll do is, instead of asking too many questions, I'll just start being a cameraman. Then I'll be like, okay, let me just be a cameraman. And by myself, instead of asking him and annoying him, I'd think to myself, okay, if I'm his cameraman, then that means I'm going to be traveling with him. I'm going to be doing loads of things with him. You know, I'm going to have a more fun lifestyle than I currently have, let's say, in England. I'll do all these things. And then we're going to be pretty close friends. Then as time goes on, there'll be bigger and bigger opportunities to help him with something else and get more money.
You can provide more value, do other things. Like, that's literally how I originally got into e-commerce. Like, I was friends with someone that was already doing it, like a year after we stopped seeing like each other a lot, but he knew I was in business. He trusted me to a certain degree, knew I wasn't a complete fucking retard, so he employed me. I knew it was an amazing opportunity, even though the pay was dog shit, because my foot's in the door. We're gonna do more tasks later on. Like, literally, like, the way I got into e-commerce was literally just through being kind of like not a fucking Down syndrome, just like being a nice human, I suppose, and just being competent and just switched on and just being aware of everything, just networking essentially.
I think the reason is because people are sat there thinking, Hassan, you're always talking about speed, you're always talking about rushing. But with that, for example, the story you just mentioned there, a lot of people at home right now might be listening and thinking, that's too slow. What about if the person I'm working for or working with, maybe he doesn't give me an opportunity? What about if I do want to be Craig's cameraman and he doesn't reward my loyalty? Maybe he doesn't, you know, maybe in the future after 3 months or 6 months or 9 months, maybe I've helped him loads, but then he fucks me off for a better cameraman. And then I don't get that opportunity of the more value later on. So I think people are constantly thinking, what about in the future if it doesn't work out? It's like, all right, say that happened. Say I was being a cameraman for Craig, then he hired like the best cameraman in the world, and let's say I couldn't keep up to that standard, right? And now all of a sudden, all those 6 months where I wasn't getting paid that much, and I thought I was leading up to this big payout, this big opportunity, it never came. No problem. I've had experience, let's say, traveling with a millionaire. Then I'll be like, okay, at least I'm good with the camera now. I can do it again. You know? Maybe next time I can be a bit smarter with the way I do things. Okay, maybe the reason why he got rid of me is because, you know, he didn't need me for this and this. But maybe what I could have done is made sure I was a bit more involved with some of the businesses. You know what I mean? It's like then you learn for the next time. It's not deep. It's not a problem. So many people are sat there thinking too much instead of just getting stuck in, because you only learn from doing. Like, I'm telling you, like, I'm so happy I just took that door-to-door sales job because so many things have come from that since then. Imagine I just sat there like, you know what? Yeah, boilers are cool. I can see how I can make a couple £100 a week, but you know, where's the other money gonna come from?
Yeah, literally the same thing. Same thing with me. It was like, I think it was £250 a month. My friend originally offered me, and I could have been like, oh, I have this other thing earning me £2,000 a month. Like, oh, this is kind of a waste of my time. Like, I was kind of taking the piss because I'm going to be getting paid below minimum wage per hour. But it's like, I didn't overthink it. I knew it would work in the long run because you're building those skills, just improving your life. Just, yeah.
And the thing is, right, this is another point to mention. Let's say you get, how much is it, 250 what?
It's like £250 a month, I think.
A month? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
£250 a month, so less than ours making.
Yeah.
250 a month. Let's say in another job he's making 2.5 a month. 10 times. 10x. Right? Let's do some quick math. What's that? A £2,250 difference between the two opportunities. In 6 months, how much is that? Like 15k? Like 13, 14k? Right? Even though that might be a lot of money to a lot of you guys, and no, 13k is decent money.
It's a lot of money, yeah.
You can still buy a lot of things, right? 13k is good. It's just that a lot of you right now at home watching this, you're trying to make 13 million. You're trying to make millions and millions. The 13k, let's say that he foregoed, right? He forgot, you know, what's the fucking word? Why does that sound so weird right now as I'm saying this?
Foregoed.
Foregone.
Well, it doesn't matter.
I'm being a retard right now. Excuse me, boys. Foregone.
Doesn't matter.
No, it does matter. Fucking matters, boys. Anyway, this is, I don't know why that's weirding me out. That money that he just let go, basically, right? Who cares? Because let's say you have two versions of Craig. You have Craig 1 and Craig 2. Craig 1 is the Craig that actually is here, right? The one that chose the 250. The Craig 2, who would have chose the 2.5. Yes, he might have had an extra 12k in 6 months. But do you know what would have happened? He would have spent more money on a brand new iPhone. He would have spent more money on some new clothes. He would have spent some more money on going out and having a fancy steak with his grandma. Okay, that's pretty cool, but not his grandma, some fucking loser friends. Smoking more joints. Some dumb shit. More PlayStation games. Whatever he would have spent on. Right? Dumb shit. Maybe a brand new gaming computer. After 6 months, he might have had only 3 out of the 12k. So it's like, would you rather the Craig with way more skills, way more experience, the smarter Craig who's now potentially having a life-changing opportunity, or the person taking a basic 9-to-5 job who would have spent the majority of the extra money anyway? So my logic when I chose the door-to-door sales job was, instead of working in the supermarket at Tesco, because that was the easiest job just to get, I was like, I'd rather just do this where I'm actually, worst case scenario, I'm going to become more comfortable in selling. And for me, I don't think I've told this story before, but so I've always been pretty good at talking with people, but my friend who was also working that sales job with me, right? He noticed a massive difference, a noticeably big difference after selling door-to-door for a while. After selling door-to-door for like 2 months, he was only doing it part-time, but after 2-3 months, he said he noticed a massive difference. And I'll say this, I'm not going to mention his name, but he actually told me he was literally a little bit depressed before he started that job. He said it gave him a purpose. I'm not joking. Because in uni, this will relate to a lot of you guys, you're sat there in your room playing PlayStation, you're ordering food, Uber Eats, you know, you're talking on Skype or whatever the fuck, you're just fucking around. He said this gave him a new purpose for life because it made him get out of his room, because you know a lot of the lectures are online and you don't have to do the lectures.
Yeah, it's all bullshit, yeah.
It's all bullshit, right?
Bullshit.
So he was knocking on doors, talking to people in the fresh air, actually selling, actually feel like he was making progress, actually with a purpose, actually following up with people like, hey Susan, I was just wondering if, you know, the surveyors came around, is everything okay? Because that's what we'd do as well. When we knew the surveyors were coming around, let's say I knocked on their door Monday 5 o'clock and we booked in the time for the surveyors Wednesday 11 a.m. I'd call Susan at like 3 p.m. Wednesday, a few hours later, right? And I'd be like, yo, I don't say yo, but I'll be like, hey Susan.
Yo, what's up, G?
Yeah, what's up, my G? Yo, Susan, what's up? I was just checking that the surveyors came around and everything went to plan. I know they did because I know that the surveyors went, right, like for a fact. But I'll just call up and be like, oh yeah, Hassan, they actually came around. I didn't believe it when you said it, but they actually came around. I was like, Susan, are you accusing me of lying? She's like, no, Hassan, I trust you. Alright, okay, good. Yeah, Susan, if you can, just please give that business card to as many of your friends and family as possible. It really helps me out a lot because I give them my business card, right? Whether they don't buy or whether they buy. And then, you know, you just end up getting more referrals that way because Susan's thinking, you know what? That Hassan guy, when I needed him, he was there. He checked up on me. I didn't message him. He checked up on me. And that's what I even do in New Money when I have a few spare minutes throughout the day. I just message like 20 random people, like, yo bro, how's it going? And then everyone always comments on the fact that I'm so, you know, I've got so many things going on. I've got so many different businesses to manage, and I'm always giving people my time. People respect that because it's just understanding human psychology, sales 101. It's like people want to be appreciated. If I have a spare 3 minutes while I'm driving, I'm stuck in the traffic light, why not message that person?
But also it gives you more energy, I think.
Yeah.
Like if people, you're messaging everyone's going to give you amazingly positive feedback. That gives you more energy, gives you more conviction. Like if you're about to hop on a sales call, you message 5 people, they've all gone, it's fucking amazing. I should have joined way earlier. Yeah. You're going to hop straight on that call and be like, like this product's amazing. It's fucking great. Like you just have so much more conviction when you're selling it, and you're going to be happier at the end of the day if someone's happy with what you've sold them.
100% true. Same thing with door to door, right? Susan will be super happy, put the phone down. Next door, I'm thinking, I want another Susan. Yeah. I'll be sat there thinking, I want another Susan. And that was good, right? And I even said this to my brother. So after Craig joined New Money, this is actually quite interesting. I remember saying to my brother, we need more Craigs. I was like, we need more Craigs in New Money. He's like, what do you mean? I was like, we need more of him. We need more Craigs, right? So you start labeling like certain customers with certain behavioral traits as that person's name, right? So we need more Craigs, we need more Susans, and then it almost becomes this memory you have in your head. It's like, all right, that's the standard of people I want. I want Susan. So every experience I have with someone who goes with us, who gets a boiler, we want a fucking Susan. We want to have that same process. They're happy when we leave. Call them before, after the surveyor's there. Just keep talking to them. Call them again after the boiler's been installed. The whole process. Be there with them. Hold their hand. It just makes people feel more appreciated. And if you make people feel appreciated, the return on investment is so much bigger. Alright, I messaged someone for 10 seconds. Yo, bro, how's your experience going in New Money? Took me 10 seconds. Gives me more energy, gives me better reviews, gives me positive testimonials, makes me feel better about the group. I'm giving value to the group. People will speak good about me to their friends in real life. My overall reputation is better. I feel better about myself because I've worked harder. I'm less bored if I'm just sat there doing nothing. I don't like having time to just think too much. I like just always action. Right? The more you do, the more energetic you feel. Even now in this podcast, I feel like I'm becoming more awake every second that's going on. At the start of the podcast, I was a bit hungry and I wasn't really focused. I feel like now this part of the podcast is far, far better. I'm more in my rhythm. I'm more in my flow, right? It's because now I've been talking a lot, so I'll be like warmed up. It's like your car. When you switch on your car in the morning, if you just start driving instantly, it's not very good for the engine. You have to wait a few minutes. I say that, I never wait. But the point is like, it'll warm up on the road.
Yeah.
But it's just the same thing with everything, man.
Is there any other more points?
I feel like there's a lot of points you've missed. We actually have to start planning these videos, boys.
Yeah. It's hard to touch on everything, but everything kind of goes back to the same fundamental things that we have discussed in this podcast, in the other podcast as well.
Yeah.
Like,
I'd say
it's all the same kind of roughly things. With just
I definitely
different
want to extend on a few points in a minute, but I just want to say for now, those of you who are in this YouTube channel and you follow me on Twitter, but you're not inside my free Telegram channel, click the link in the YouTube description. Join my free Telegram channel. That's where I'm most active. I do voice notes every single day, like an hour of voice notes a day. Like I'm very, very active in the Telegram channel. Every day I'm posting lots and lots of voice notes. So make sure you're inside this free Telegram channel. Follow me on Instagram as well. That's super, super important. But yeah, man, I don't know how some of you guys aren't inside New Money. That's my question as well. So click on the link below as well. Click on the New Money website. You can have a read about that. But yeah, I definitely want to expand on some points. I feel like I missed on a lot of points. Should we start talking about selling on social media? Or?
We can talk about that.
All right, I can talk about that. All right. So when you're selling on social media, let's say you're selling through a personal brand. I think that might help people. If you're selling to social media, if you're selling on social media with a personal brand, what you need to understand is you actually don't need that many customers. Because it's your product, because it's your business, you can charge as much as you want, right? Because you can charge as much as you want, you can make a bunch of money from not that many people, right? So I talk to some people in New Money and they tell me they're a ghostwriter. I say, okay, cool. What is a ghostwriter? Tell me. I know what a ghostwriter is. I just want them to tell me.
Someone that writes on your behalf.
Yeah. I just want them to tell me so that I, just make a bit of conversation with them. So they tell me, yeah, I'm going to be writing people's tweets. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, why would someone pay you to write their tweets? And get to the actual, why are they paying you? Because if you know why someone's paying you, it's much easier to sell more. That's how I used to think about everything I've ever sold. I sit there and think to myself, why am I actually being paid? Okay, I'm being paid to sell these boilers because I'm just basically the middleman. I'm basically the peasant who just goes and knocks on the door And then the actual, like when they know they've got a sale, they send the actual big boys, they install the boilers. I'm just the person who gets the paperwork signed. That's why I get small commission. That was kind of my logic. Right, so why are you being paid to write their tweets? Because they might be too busy, maybe I'm better at copywriting, I can get them more sales on their products, I delink their time for the money, blah, blah, blah. Okay, you now identified why a ghostwriter is good. Okay, so because you know you can make someone more money and save them more time, and you're giving them more energy, and you're all this kind of stuff, you're going to help them grow their account more, right? This is if it's Twitter, right? But then you have people who run someone's Instagram account, you have social media managers, right? So depending, whatever they do, if you're running someone's social media, you're getting paid for that. Why are you getting paid? You're getting paid because you're helping that person make more money. So you can charge what you want. If you know you can make that person way more money, then you can basically charge what you want. So you should be sat there confident as well. Like, yeah, I can charge 5K for a few months of ghostwriting because this person might make a few $100,000 in those few months. You know? Now, don't pit. This is not an invite for you guys to message me with your fucking ghostwriting. I don't need your ghostwriting. I do it myself. I like doing it myself. But if you message enough big accounts, a lot of people have ghostwriters and they'd accept a ghostwriter because it, like I said, it delinks their time. So
one thing I'll say about pitching, because that obviously you're kind of recommending to like cold pitch people in that kind of thing. It's like I get I don't have like a big Twitter following or anything like that. I assume your DMs must be fucked, but I get a lot of pitches every single day from ghostwriters, from this, from that, from short form, all this stuff, and everyone does the exact same fucking thing, and that may work if my account was like 1,000 followers or like 500 followers, because I wouldn't get that many pitches, but every single fucking pitch is exactly the same.
Yeah.
Like, exactly the same. The only pitches that I've actually responded to are when people have done something a little bit different and put more effort into the actual pitch. So whether that's like sending me a customized YouTube video. So someone that wanted...
That's good.
Someone that wanted to join Etsy, my Etsy stuff today.
Etsy Kings, yeah.
They made a 2-minute, 2.5 minute YouTube video. They edited with sounds, all this kind of stuff, literally just being like, yo, I help with YouTube, I'm not trying to sell you anything, I actually want to join Etsy, but I've made this YouTube video for you. Like, amazing first interaction, great first impression. Other people that have pitched me like conversion optimization for my ecom stores, they've made a whole specific YouTube video, sent that to me with their little face on it, going, I'm gonna change this and this. Like, those are the things that stand out to me. And if I was ever gonna hire someone, I've hired a couple people, if I was ever gonna hire someone, it's those people that have gone above and beyond and done something a little bit extra, like done something actually, like they've just put more effort in and they're just different from the competition.
100%. And why do you think that people don't put the extra effort in? Because I have my answer on that.
I think maybe people are scared of the rejection. They're like, oh, I'm going to invest time into this and I don't think it's worth my time. They have like ego maybe. I'm not sure. Maybe they're just stupid. I don't know.
I really think it's because they're sat there thinking, okay, if I make this for Craig, I make this for Hassan, I do this for this person, they'll most likely ignore it because they're probably busy, they don't need it, whatever. And now it's a waste of my time. What they don't realize is the amount of time it took them to make that thing, the experience they got was worth it. Because next time they're going to send a slightly better DM and then so on and so forth. And also, you got to look at it like this. If I said to you, you got to send 500 DMs like that and you get a huge client. Or let's just say, you send 500 DMs like that and now all of a sudden you're making 100K a year. 10K a month. A lot of you would do those 500 DMs. Or you do the 500... website thingies, whatever it is. I don't know what exactly. You do the 500 quick 2-minute YouTube videos, right? But the fact that you don't is because you don't think that after those 500, or you're not thinking, you're not aware enough of the fact that once you do that amount of work, it's going to lead to a guarantee of a result. Same thing with door-to-door. What I would do, this is actually my best tip ever. I can't believe I forgot this. See, I knew I had to keep speaking. Is when I was tired and I wanted to go home for the day, right? What I would do is I'll tell myself you have to knock on 5 more doors, because what I actually did is I knew the average was, let's say, every 30 doors, like I was saying. So what you do is, let's say the average sale on average, let's say, is £120, right? You do £120 divided by 30 doors, say £4 a door. So what I'll tell myself is, I'm tired as fuck, but it's £4 a door.
That's a good way of doing it, yeah.
Right?
Same thing with DMs, like you can do that, like 50 DMs, you get one sale, you can convert that sale into the lifetime value of that customer. You know exactly how much you're getting paid per DM. Same with tweets, same with literally anything, like cold calls, anything.
Yeah, so it's like if you know you're getting paid £4 per door, £2 per door, whatever the fuck, right? Depending on who's selling. then it's like, okay, instead of me going home, I'm poor right now, I'm broke. Isn't it better that I just knock on 5 doors, get £10, 5 times £2 a door? It's not better to do that? Because the reason why people don't do the extra 5 doors, they don't do the extra, is because they're thinking, oh, those 5 doors won't be a sale. But I don't want the sale. I just want the 5 doors. Do you see what I'm fucking saying to you guys? I just want the input. I don't want the output. Give me the 5 doors. Give me the input, because on average, the 5 doors will equal the £10. And I want £10. I don't care about the extra 100. I want 10. Now, some of you dumb fucks at home will be, no, but if you don't get a sale, then it's £0. Obviously. But I'm saying on average, those 5 doors equal £10. So that means those 5 doors are £10. That's what averages mean. That's literally what it means. I remember when I was... It doesn't matter, I was going to say a story. It'll take too long. But yeah, man. That's how you need to look at things, because it's very, very easy. Any one of you right now who's broke, you would knock on an extra 5 doors for £10. If I said, right, have that interaction. That interaction. Some of them might not even answer. Good. £2, they didn't even answer. It took 10 seconds. No answer. All right, £2, done. You know? That's how I think about things. So that would, and then you know what? Before I know it, I'd knock on an extra 17 doors. So then it was an extra £34. Or oftentimes those extra 17 would actually equal a sale.
Equal a sale.
And it might have been a 5-bed semi-detached house, which was £300 in my old wage. Right? So £300. Not 10, not 22, not 46, not 3, not £30, not 40. 300. Right? So I was going to go home, now I'm £300 richer. Right? So that mindset is super big for sales. Same thing with Instagram, same thing with Twitter, same thing with YouTube. Let's say right now you have an Instagram account, you post a few stories a day, and you make 2K a month on Twitter. If you make 2K a month on Twitter, and you post 1 story a day, then you can tell yourself that 30 stories equal $2,000, which means each story, 1 story equals $66. $2,000 divided by 30 is $66. $66 per story, right? Then you can start telling yourself, okay, what about if I just triple my stories?
Yeah.
You know, would I start getting an extra $132 a day? Now you wouldn't, because obviously you'll be diminishing returns.
Yeah, like diminishing
you can't
returns,
post 85 stories and then make 85 times the amount of money. Of course not. But would you make more? And the answer is pretty much 1,000% yes. Like 99.99%, right?
Yeah.
And that's as good as 100% in my book anyway, because there's no such thing as certainty anyway, right? So that's kind of how I approach sales. It's just about, it's almost like, and I said this in the previous podcast, it's like, say you're playing football. You're crossing the box. You're crossing the ball in the box. You're giving yourself a chance of scoring. You're giving your team a chance of scoring. You're giving the strikers a chance of heading the ball in the net. If you just keep the ball in your own half, pass it between the defenders, what are the chances that your team is going to score a goal? 0. You're not going to score if the ball's in your own half, right? If you push the ball forward, why do you think when a football team is losing, right? We've all seen this. You watch football, right? You watch a football team losing. Not really. Okay.
No. I get the rough idea. Yeah, I get the analogy. Yeah.
A football team's losing. They need a goal. What happens? They stop passing the ball around the centre backs. You know, in general in football, they just pass around faffing about.
Yeah.
They get the goalkeeper at the top, right? There's a corner. They send the goalkeeper up for the corner. So they have an extra person in the box to try and get in.
Okay.
Because they're losing 2-1, and if they don't score in this corner...
Oh, they may as well,
They might as well concede again.
Yeah.
They send the defenders up, they send the goalkeeper up, they send everyone up. Why? Because they know that gives them the best chance of scoring. So what I'm saying is, when you guys really want clients and you're that hungry to get a sale, you become like the team who's losing in football. You do everything to score. You throw everybody in the box. You put it in the box. You're not spending time faffing around outside of the box, passing. You just lob it in the fucking box. Which means you guys know how to sell. If you did more Instagram stories, you'd make more money. Now you might be like, Hassan, how the fuck does Instagram stories help me sell more solar panels? Well, no, you fucking retard. Like, obviously, I'm not combining Instagram stories with solar panels. These are 2 completely different businesses. Let's say you're a copywriter right now and you're outreaching to clients on IG. Maybe if you have a better looking Instagram, you'll get more, whatever. If you're running an OnlyFans management agency, whatever, if you have a better Instagram. I know a guy in New Money right now, he's got a very, very good Instagram and he gets a lot of girls from Instagram, and then he messages girls on Instagram from his very good Instagram account. And he always has very interesting stories and it's fun stories. I don't know if you'll be watching this right now, but he'll have good stories, right? On his IG. So when girls see that, they're like, oh, this guy's fun, right? And then if you have a bit of good chat as well, why would you not want to meet him? Yeah. Then before you know it, maybe they're working for him, right? 50-50 deal, whatever, right? It's business. So whatever your business is, you just need to give yourself as much chance as possible of making a sale. And you should analyze your business and say, why would someone not want to give me money? Right now I'm just ranting. I feel like it's better. Fuck the questions. I can just rant forever. But yeah, what you want to do, boys, in sales is you just want to sit there and actually ask yourself, why would someone not give my business money? Why would someone not come to SLS Hotel, this hotel in Dubai, and give them money? Why would someone not come here? I'll tell you why they won't come here. Maybe it's too expensive, but then they're not the customers anyway you want, because the hotel's always full, right? It's pretty much always full, mostly. So you don't want to make it a quarter of the price to appeal to the broke boys, because then it won't be a prestigious hotel. So you can't have that. All right, number 2. Maybe they don't want to come here because they're going to another hotel. Okay, so your competitor is taking your customers. Maybe you can spend more money on advertising. Maybe you can pay for influencer marketing. What else could you do? Maybe you could update some of your rooms. Add this new special deluxe room feature, right?
So many things.
Maybe you can have a special ladies' night where the drinks are free at the bar. That'll get those girls coming. Then
The guys will come, yeah.
What does every club in the world do?
Literally that, like ladies free.
In Nottingham, we
Guys
were talking
pay.
about the night out in Nottingham yesterday. The New Money Boys, right?
Yeah.
They all had a good night. So a bunch of the New Money Boys met up together in Nottingham, right? North of England, for those of you who don't know. And, well, mid-north. You know, not too north, but north. Anyway, north. That would do.
Anything above fucking Milton Keynes is north, bro. Like.
So north of England, they just met up. They had a table, right? They're buying drinks, they're buying bottles, they're with a bunch of girls. That's a good night for them. As a dude, every night is good if you're with a girl, you're with your boys having fun, right? Dancing in the club, chilling. So what do they do? All these clubs. What do all these clubs do? Girls get half price, so they get free access, they get free drinks, they get 2 free drinks, they get unlimited free drinks, they get anything just to get the chicks in. Because if you load up the place with chicks, you're going to get guys spending money. So if you're sat there as a business owner, you need to think, okay, how can I get people through the door? If it's a physical business, right? If it's a, look at door to door. What I used to do at one point is I just had my brother at the start, right? Just putting leaflets through the door and business cards.
Yeah.
Because my logic was, I'll be better at selling at the very, very beginning before he was good at selling. I'll be better at selling, so let's just get him to put my business cards through the doors. He'd put, fucking, I don't even know at this point because he hasn't done it in a while, right? He's in Dubai with me, but it was a lot of business cards. It was like a good 200-300 a day. Because all you do is just put it through the letterbox, right? And sometimes if someone hasn't got a letterbox, which is very rare, then you just put it on the floor, on their doormat, right? So I can, let's say, knock on 50 doors. I'm knocking on 50, 60. He'll put 300 business cards through the doors. A bunch of sales came from that. They call me and say, hey, I just saw your business card through the door. I saw you put it in earlier. No, motherfucker, it wasn't even me. It was my brother, right? But leads,
Yeah.
right? Same thing with social media. You need to think about how to get attention. Right now, if you're selling something, again, go back to that personal training example. How do you get attention on your website? How do you get attention on your brand? You need to outcompete everybody else. In New Money right now, we have 1,010 people. Who has the most followers? There's a bunch of people with like a couple 100K on TikTok. Obviously, my friend H, he's got billions of views on TikTok. It's kind of crazy, but how's he got attention over other people, right? He's been super funny. He's done videos with, you know, funny girls and a bunch of different kind of things, traveling videos, all these kind of things. So you got to ask yourself, how are you going to get attention on social media? Because ultimately, it's like, if you have attention on social media, you're always going to make money.
Yeah.
How do you think someone could get attention on social media?
I don't know. You can jump on trends. That works quite well. Like obviously ChatGPT is like a huge trend. So many people jumped on that on Twitter and they grew their accounts very, very big doing that. And there's so many other trends. Like obviously people jumped on the TikTok organic trend, which was a massive trend within my kind of industry. People jumped on that. They made obviously money and influence with that, and then they can bounce that into different things. People do lots of different things. Like jumping on trends is obviously very good. There's so many different things, right? I think like you just got to grab attention. But what I think, you can grab attention short term by doing things that are very outrageous and stuff like that. For me personally, I don't think that would work for my kind of personality. I want to go for the longevity point of view. But a lot of people do things that are just purely outrageous to grab attention, right? Like, there's so many.
I think also though
to
it
do this
depends,
sort of
because like
thing.
people say like, oh, Jake Paul this, Jake Paul that, right? Like he's obviously very good at getting attention. People overestimate how much people care about them. Like look how many crazy videos Jake Paul's done over the years, right? Like every other video is pretty crazy, right? But how many videos do you remember of Jake Paul over the past few years?
Not many. There's a few things that I do remember though that
How
just
many?
grabbed attention. I know like 2 off the
Which
top
ones?
of my head. Where he jumped on top of the news van, and where he set a mattress alight in the back of his Beverly Hills house.
See, I only remember, the only video I really remember of Jake Paul is when he called out Conor McGregor and took the piss out like Dana White, and Floyd Mayweather punched him. when he took his hat.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I got your hat.
So,
thing.
and that was what, 3 videos in my whole life. Maybe I remember a few more if I sat there and actually like thought, I wonder how many, right? The point is that people don't give a fuck, and he's arguably one of the most famous people on the internet. Not
Yeah, we don't give a fuck. Yeah.
He is.
Well, then also you can look at it like Logan Paul. Like, think about it. Logan Paul's been cancelled because he took a picture of the suicide thing, and because he scammed a bunch of people out of NFTs, and everyone's forgotten. Like like this was like 2-3 months ago. Everyone's completely forgotten. He's still partnered with Prime, with the Arsenal, UFC, WWE. He's got a partnership with WWE, and he literally scammed people for like straight up scammed people for like 3 mil. Like, people just forget about stuff. So like, you can do outrageous things.
Yeah, obviously not saying that's ideal at all. I'm not saying do that. At the
Well,
end of
yeah,
the day, morally that's fucked up.
Morally, it's fucked up. He's not gonna be able to sleep at night.
But also, you could say like, because people might be sat there at home listening like, yeah, fuck it, like no one remembers all scam. Like, no, because people do remember the Logan Paul scamming thing, and it has ruined his credibility. Yeah, he's still Logan Paul, but that's because he's super famous and all the good he's done. And also, it kind of leads to another point, right, about business. If you do loads and loads of good, you can get away with a bit of bad. This is the truth. Like, sometimes I realize I'm pretty arrogant on Twitter and I'm trolling people, but I feel like I'm allowed to get away with it because I give so much game away in my Telegram channel and I actually help people, and people know at heart I'm not actually a prick, right? I was going to make that joke that you said. What? Guys, Craig the other day, he was like, I'm actually the most humble person ever.
I've said it a few times, yeah.
And it's funny because it's like
those hypocritical fucking, it doesn't make sense.
But yeah, it's like people at heart, I know, I'm a chill person, I'm pretty reserved. So I can troll on Twitter a little.
Yeah, you troll on Twitter.
So it's like the more good you do, the more bad you can do. Right?
I do the kind of same thing. Like, you chat shit on Twitter, but then people come and watch the live streams and they know that I'm actually like nice, like and humble. And
yeah, it's just a lot of you are sat there thinking, okay, this person's doing well on social media, this person's doing well on social media, I have to copy them. You don't have to copy them, you have to be yourself, because at the end of the day, I remember 50 Cent said this, people can sense when you're trying to be someone else. Just be yourself.
Completely.
Like, I'm just sat here in this podcast talking like how I normally talk. It's fucking 3:33 in the morning.
People can super tell when you're doing that. Like, even I know some people in real life, and I've spoken to some people on the phone and stuff like that, and I then see how they're posting on social media, and it's just not, like, it doesn't make sense. It's just not who they are, and you can just see through it immediately. Like, it's just never gonna work, right? Like say if I, like, obviously your personality on Twitter is very different to my personality on Twitter, but if I was just trying to mimic exactly what you were doing, or mimic exactly what Tate was doing, for example, it just doesn't fit with who I am. People, they're gonna watch my live streams, and it's just like, doesn't make any sense at all. Like, if I was talking about, like, I don't know, pimping girls, like, it doesn't make any sense with my personality, right? So people can see that through that very quickly. One thing I will also say as well, a lot of people overthink, like, I think it's a big thing with posting on social media. People think like their friends will see it, or their high school friends will see it and they'll give a fuck and stuff like that. It's like,
again, I think I spoke a lot on the last podcast about this, so I don't know how many points I'm repeating, but fuck it, we'll just repeat a lot.
Yeah.
If it is what it is. But I remember what some of my friends from school, people I know from school, saw a lot of the videos I made on Twitter, and they were kind of like laughing about them and kind of memeing them in a way, and it's like, none of them would say it to my face, none of them are doing as well as me. It's irrelevant, right? It's like when you actually break things down from that mind frame, it's very, very powerful. If you say to yourself, okay, this person's actually poorer than me, and they wouldn't say it to you because they're just shy or they're embarrassed and they're just losers, then
just because they're losers, like, their opinion doesn't matter.
Their opinion literally becomes irrelevant.
So how do you manage objections like, oh, I need to speak to my wife, I need to speak to my boyfriend? How do you manage these kind of objections?
It depends completely.
Like if someone's joining New Money.
No one's saying that.
No one's saying that. No one's saying that. Okay.
No.
But what about door-to-door kind of situation? Like, what would be the typical response for that? What should you respond? Or what's the framework to responding to that kind of objection where it's like, it's not immediately solvable?
Yeah, I'd be like, I mean, because again, it's not about what they say. If you take what they say too seriously, well, then that's the problem. If I really believe they actually need to speak to their wife, based on the whole conversation we've had, based on the whole interaction we've had, I really believe the problem's with the wife, I'll be like, okay, when is it we can next speak? When is it that you're next going to speak with your wife? Because I'm in the area for the next few hours. I'll be on this street and this street besides this. Like, how long will you, how long will it be before you next speak with your wife? Oh, tomorrow morning. I'll be like, mate, can you not call her now? Like, we're not going to be in this area tomorrow morning. Can you not call her right now and you can find an answer? If you're interested in what we have, if you're interested in actually signing up for this, you're interested in actually getting a free boiler, why would you not want to call her right now? Shouldn't you be excited by this? Like, you should be calling her right now. And what's there to think about? It's free. It's fully funded. It's free, right? You don't have to pay a penny towards it. You fit the criteria. We've just been through that, right? I can show you all the pictures of people on this street who have already gone ahead with the whole process from earlier today or last night we were here as well. Right? What is it that you're, what's it that's confusing you? Again, it doesn't matter exactly what you say. It's that overall vibe though, right? Because everyone's going to say different things depending on what they're saying. It's just that overall vibe. The overall vibe is that why would you not want to go with it now? Even sometimes when someone's trying to join you money, people say things like, oh yeah, bro, okay, I'll sort it out in a couple hours. I'll sort the payment out in a couple hours. Like, do it now. I'll just say, like, do it now. Because again, with something like new money, I don't have to be polite or fucking join, bruv, or I don't care. So I'm like, why would you not just do it now? Just do it now. Yeah, I could do it now. It's like, what? So then they make the payment. Like, see? I told you about speed, how important speed is. You're going to delay it 2 hours. Now you've done it now. Now you have 2 hours extra of reading the groups. You're in. Like, now. Not 2 hours later, then it could have been 3 because maybe we had to go somewhere. Now it's late. Now. Everything now. And I'm like, that's the first thing I want you to think about when you're joining the group. Like, everything you start doing in your life, it needs to be done ASAP. It needs to be done now. Not later, not maybe. It's the same. With the whole talk to the wife thing at the door, though, it's like, you need to know if they actually need to talk to the wife. That is the overall thing, right? That's the overall thing you're thinking about. Like, is this person just chatting shit to me saying I need to speak to my wife because he thinks it's like an actual reasonable excuse, right? Or does he actually need to talk to his wife? Because if he actually needs to talk to his wife, we need to find out when he can next talk to his wife, what his wife might say, why she might not want the boiler. Maybe his wife's going to be worried about the mess it'll cause. So we have to, reassure him, like, look, there's going to be no mess. Our company takes care of all the mess. What's the problem?
Yeah, it's no problem, yeah.
But if the actual problem is, I don't trust you, you look like a piece of shit, why is this 20-year-old kid at my door? Well, then I'm going to have to handle that objection in a different way. But if I'm so fixated on the fact that he needs to speak to his wife, I'll forget the true reason. He's distracting me by making me look here, when in reality, the whole problem is here. So I need to be smart enough to be like, you know what, this is bullshit. I need to focus right here. And if I focus on this objection right here, then I can actually handle the objection. Right?
Yeah.
Because even sometimes when someone's messaging me about joining new money, I'm like, just join new money. And then they're like, oh, this and that, I ain't got the money. It's not that they ain't got the money, it's just that they're not fully sure it's going to change their life. They're wrong. But if they're not fully sure it's going to change their life, because they're sat there thinking, like I said before on the last podcast, if I told you could get a Lamborghini for $1,497, you'd find the money like this, because you'd ask everyone you knew, because you knew you could just pay them back, and you'd have a Lamborghini worth hundreds of thousands, right? So everyone can have the money. So I don't really believe in price objections too much. If someone really wants something, they buy it. This Rolex, when I bought it, was £38,000 for a watch. I don't even know what time it says. It says right now it's Thursday. What day is it? Monday morning. So it's completely wrong, the date. And the time, it says it's like 12:50 at night.
Yes, that's
3:50 in the morning. So it's like 3 hours late. I don't care, right? Actually, that's the perfect time for England. No way, that is crazy. Because I've not changed this time in ages. That's complete coincidence. Right now in England, it's 12:53. 12:54 now.
Yeah, fuck. That's weird.
That is
because you don't wear it and it doesn't move at all, so that's weird. It's exactly that.
But yeah, so with objections in general, you need to be sat there thinking, why are people not buying from me? If, let's say you're a ghostwriter on Twitter and no one's, you're not getting any clients. Is it because you're charging 2K? Or is it because on your Twitter page you have 25 followers yourself and people are sat there thinking, why would I want someone with 25 followers to write my tweets? Maybe if you have 25,000, people would be like, okay, 2K is very cheap. Because if I have 25K followers, then I can make money, I can meet people, I can do this, I can do that, I have some influence, right? So that's worth the 2K I'm paying this ghostwriter. But why would someone pay 2K for a ghostwriter when they're not even happy with the results you've got yourself? So that's kind of the overall framework, right?
Yeah, if you got a K followers, trying to pitch ghostwriting services or Twitter services, that makes no fucking sense. It makes no sense.
It's just you got to analyze, why would people not buy from you? So for me, with Door-to-Door, I knew completely it's all about shit. Slow. With me and Door-to-Door, I knew it's completely a case of they don't trust me because they've only met me for the first time in their life there and then. Just that's why door to door is so impressive, because you're selling to someone there and then on the door. They don't know you. They don't know your history. They don't know who your parents are. They don't know your siblings. They don't know if you're a murderer who's just escaped jail. They don't know if you're supposed to be in jail tomorrow. They don't know what you've done in your life. They don't know if you're a good guy, bad guy, morals, no morals. They don't know you at all. And they have to they have to let you in their house and then sign this paperwork. Like letting a stranger in your house, that's another thing that we haven't mentioned enough when it comes to door to door. You're letting a stranger into your house, right? They have to really trust you. So if I can convince people to let me in their house to sign this paperwork, it's very, very easy to convince people in real life when I'm talking to them about a business idea. Because I'm speaking to them in the gym, I'm speaking to them in the shisha place, I'm speaking to them wherever, in the cigar lounge. It's a nice, friendly environment, it's a public place, right? It's a mutual place.
Yeah, letting someone in your house is fucking completely different.
What if I have a knife and I stab you and all of a sudden your kids are upstairs and I'm some crazy psycho, right? That's how people think subconsciously. Their mindset is thinking, who the fuck is this guy at my door, right? That's why you learn how to talk differently to different types of people. If some grandma's at the door, or some mum's at the door and her kid's in the house. What about if the husband's at work? She's worried to just answer to let random men in the house, right? So,
yeah. So, kind of switching up to kind of more generalized questions now, away from the sales stuff, unless you have any more kind of specific things.
Boys, I think I'm going to make a bunch more sales videos. Maybe what I'll start doing in the future, because I feel like this wasn't properly organized so much. I feel like in the future what I'm going to do is make a separate video for each point. And then I'll actually say, okay, this video is just on speaking. And then I'll mention all the points about speaking. I think that will work better in the future.
Yeah, that'd be good. But in regards to the sales questions, what is something that money can't buy? Like, is there something that money like really can't buy, or like money that can't solve or can't fix?
Not really. Someone's going to say family, someone's going to say health, but I mean, it helps with those things anyway. You spend more time with your family and, you know, you can be healthier if you want to live that life anyway. Not really. Money basically solves every problem.
Yeah.
It gives you more access to fun times. It will give you more opportunities to date more women. You can be in cooler places with your boys. I think it basically buys everything. It basically does, right? What does it not buy you? It buys you better food, it buys you a better life, it buys you a better apartment. I remember Jordan Belfort has this quote in The Wolf of Wall Street, because one of my friends had this like canvas in his room. It was like a picture of Jordan Belfort holding like this picture of Jordan Belfort from The Wolf of Wall Street. And sorry, Leonardo DiCaprio in The Wolf of Wall Street. And the quote was, money makes you a better person. It buys you better food, gets you better pussy, gets you a better house, better living. It just made me laugh because I posted on my Instagram story one time and I had so many people reaching out to me like, no, it doesn't. You're so wrong. Like, bro, relax. Obviously, I'm not fully I'm not fully agreeing with this because obviously it doesn't necessarily make you a better person, but I'm saying it does give you a much better life for sure. Also, I think it's a pointless question because people are arguing whether money makes your life that much better or that much. Have you ever noticed that? People never say, oh, money's not good for you. They always say it's not that important, or it's not that important, or it's pretty important. It's like they're arguing whether it's this good or this good. No one's saying it's not good. Which means instead of arguing if it's that good or that good, why don't you just get a bunch of fucking money and then if it's that good or that good, it's fucking better than this good.
Yeah. Especially when you're younger as well, like it opens up so much more opportunities when you're younger. Like if it's really shit, you just give it all away. Like there's no real negative.
And that's the thing, no one really does give the money away. No rich people just give all the money away. Even the ones who give to charity, it's always like there's some loopholes attached, and not even just loopholes attached, but it's like it might be such a small percentage, small portion of their total money. I'm not saying that's a bad thing.
People give it away after they're dead normally. That's what a lot of people do.
It's just like when you're alive, money certainly enhances your experience on this planet. Like right now, we're just sat on this balcony doing this podcast right now. It's like people actually have to be at work tomorrow in the morning. Like, what day is it?
It's 4 a.m. Monday morning right now.
Like,
people are waking up in like what, like
Crazy.
2 hours to get the tube into London and do that kind of stuff, whereas you don't have to do anything. Like, just do whatever the fuck you want. Like right now, if you wanted to go to Antarctica, like we can, bro.
Yeah.
Right now, if we want to go climb Everest, like we fucking can. They can just do whatever the fuck you want. But yeah. In regards, someone else in the New Money chat asked, like, what's the biggest difference between like 10K and 100K? Like, is there a mentality shift? Is it pure just like momentum? Like, what is the biggest thing? So obviously you've gone from very different points of earning money, right? You've gone from earning like almost nothing to more, to the point now where you're earning hundreds of thousands a month. Like, what is the biggest mentality shift you have personally seen?
I think 10 to 100 is a noticeable change. I think 100 to like 300-400 is also another noticeable change. There's a big difference between 10 and 100, man. There's a big difference. 10, you can literally, you still have your normal life. You still are the kind of the same person. You still think about life almost the same way. You're just a bit smarter than the average person, and you've kind of just taken action on like one or two things for a decent amount of time. And you don't have to really like completely change who you are. I think when you start making like 100K a month, it becomes more like, okay, your business is like a big part of your life, and you know, you think about business all the fucking time, right? Yeah, you know, there's some exceptions who don't work that hard and they make 100 if they're some famous whatever. But in general, I think 100 requires so much more obsession. That's like the biggest mind thing. It's not too much about things you learn, really. I think it's just the amount of hours, the waking hours you spend working on business versus if you make 10. You can literally work a couple hours a day and maintain like a 10K month business for sure.
So do you think people should aim for 100? Or do you think 10 versus 100? Do you think the majority of people should?
Is it worth the squeeze?
Yeah.
Definitely. I think so. I think 10K a month, you can travel the world, you can have fun, but it's very, I've said this many times, I think it's like selfish to only want 10K a month, because so many people in your life could be affected positively if you made more than 10K a month. I think it's just small. I can't relate to that, but I understand if you want 20K a month, 10K a month, it's just, I can't relate to it. But I'm telling you, it's worth it if you're making 100 plus, trust me. Because 100 is what? 3K a day? 3.3 a day versus 300 a day. This room's like a few hundred, right? So it's like if you make 10K a month,
10K is not,
it's not that much. Like, don't get me.
It's a hell of a lot of money, but it doesn't go that far. Like, you
not in the big cities.
No.
And so, like, you can be 45 years of age and be making 100K a month profit, and you'll still live a very, very good life. Like, you could be whatever age, and like 100 is always going to be a lot of money. But 10 is like, maybe it's a lot of money now, but then it's like by the time you're 36 and you have a few kids, it's really not much. It's really not much. Like, really not much.
If you have kids and a wife and a more...
Like, say your wife goes shopping and she buys, you know, some clothes for the baby. If you're making 300 a day, and that's like before taxes and after taxes, and then it's like, what about if your wife spends like a couple hundred on food and clothes for the kids, and it's like, it's your money gone for the day. And I know some of you might be saying, yeah, but you're not like your wife's going food shopping every... You guys get what I'm saying? I'm saying like one item could dent your whole bank. It's like it's too small, I'm telling you, bro. You need more. And the thing is it's so worth the extra squeeze. I understand people who make 2-3K a month from their job that think, I don't want to even make 10. Like, I kind of understand it, because if you're so deep into that mindset, I understand it. But if you're making 10, it's so much worth. It's so worth your time going the extra mile. But I think going past 100 to like 3, 4, 5, 6, 700, I think it's like, a lot of people, they don't think it's worth. I don't think they'll think it's worth it, and it's a lot harder, I think. But getting to 100, I think anyone listening to this can get to 100K a month profit. All right, boys. So that's the end of the podcast. It was kind of a bit all over the place in terms of some of the points we were making. What we're going to do is I'm going to start making separate videos on sales as well. Like, whatever specific topic you guys have, I can make a video on as well. But bro, boys, if you're not inside my free Telegram channel, make sure you join my free Telegram channel. We're going to put the link in the bio, because all these points I'm mentioning, I feel like that's maybe why I felt like I was repeating myself so much, because I've given so much game, like hours and hours of game on my free Telegram channel. It's almost like you would have heard it already if you're in the Telegram channel. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I really recommend you guys all go check that out. It's in the link in the bio. Go follow the Instagram, all that kind of stuff. And Craig, do you want to plug?
Yeah. So my Twitter will be in the description as well. It'll be a couple links down. So go follow my Twitter if you want to learn more about me, e-commerce, all that kind of stuff. Obviously, I'm heavily involved with New Money as well. And obviously, I spend a lot of time with Hassan. But yeah, the top link in the description will be to the free Telegram channel. The second link will be to New Money. And then it'll be Hassan's Instagram or whatever. And then my Twitter. So make sure you go check all those out. Let us know how we can improve. Obviously, the sales, the individual sales videos is a very good idea, and that's going to help a lot of you guys out. But let us know if anything wasn't clear. Write a comment on this video if it wasn't clear. Hassan will respond to some of the comments, put them in his free Telegram channel, and give as much value as humanly possible. But obviously, make sure you subscribe to this video, like this video if you've liked this video as well.
Guys, send me a DM if you're trying to join New Money, or reply pretty quickly to your message. We can get you in. But yeah, I feel like I haven't talked about New Money too much this video. It's fine. We can make it separate. All right, boys. Take care.
Peace, boys.